Yang Fan was reborn in the Xuantian Continent, and at the very beginning found himself bound to a Myriad Realms Mall. It was as if a hidden power had been activated from the start, allowing for frenzied level-ups and an endless pursuit of points. This was the Xuantian Continent within the vast Xuantian city. He was the son of the city lord, yet his talent was extraordinarily poor. He was completely unable to cultivate. After 18 long years, he remained stuck at the very first level of body tempering, like a character trapped in a worn-out, cliched fate. Yang Fan had originally been an ordinary person on Earth. One day, while rescuing a young girl from danger, he was struck by a car. Darkness swallowed his sight. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself in the Xuantian Continent. This was a fantastical world where ferocious beasts roamed freely. Myriad races contended for supremacy, and powerful cultivators were as common as dust on the road. The body he now inhabited had once belonged to the sole son of the city lord of Xuantian City. Yet his aptitude was so poor that even with the assistance of medicine, he had only barely reached the first level of body tempering. In order to raise his cultivation, he once swallowed several pellets in one reckless breath, hoping to break through his current realm. However, the medicinal power was far too strong for his frail body to absorb. His life ended on the spot, and at that very moment Yang Fan crossed into this world, taking over the fallen body. Where is the ever-present old master? Where is the system? There is nothing at all. Was I brought here just to die a second time? A full month passed, and Yang Fan had not encountered even the slightest sign of any hidden aid. Within the territories of 100 nations lay hundreds of thousands of cities. Wars broke out ceaselessly as they fought over resources and expanded their borders. Danger lurked everywhere. Once one stepped beyond the city walls, one could perish without even knowing how death had come. Young master, it's terrible. The people of Flame Beast City have launched an attack. The city lord is personally leading our forces in resistance, but the situation is extremely dire. He orders that you leave at once with Madam and the young ladies. Just as Yang Fan was fretting over his predicament, an anxious voice rang out from outside his room. The shout made his heart jolt. Flame Beast City was a fortress several hundred li away from Xuantian City. Between the two cities, battles had erupted time and again, each seeking to swallow the other's territory and stronghold. They had long since become sworn enemies. In recent years, the military might of Flame Beast City had gradually surpassed that of Xuantian City, leaving Xuantian decisively at a disadvantage. Now the enemy army was at the gates. Even Yang Fan's father had already prepared for retreat. From this alone, one could imagine how desperate the situation had become. Yang Fan gritted his teeth in resentment. So I've been in this world barely a month, and I'm already being driven from my home, forced to flee for my life. Though filled with anger, Yang Fan still hurriedly rose to prepare for escape. At that moment, a clear chime sounded. Ding. Host detected. Binding in progress. 1, 20, 100. Binding complete. A buzzing filled his mind, leaving Yang Fan momentarily stunned. Before he could react, a luminous screen unfolded before his eyes. On the screen, lines of information appeared. Host Yang Fan. Identity: only son of the city lord of Xuantian City. Cultivation: first level of body tempering. Martial arts: Iron Yuan Palm, not yet mastered. Chasing wind leg technique, not yet mastered. Points 0. Exchange mall, not yet unlocked. Items: none. Yang Fan stared, then blurted out in his heart, shocked and incredulous, there really is a system. Overwhelmed with excitement, Yang Fan's face flushed crimson. He could not restrain himself as he called out within his mind, urging the system to reveal what it. A calm notification sounded. Ding. The Myriad Realms Mall System is a system through which, as long as you possess sufficient points, you may exchange for anything that exists within the Myriad Worlds. The system's explanation unfurled a dazzling list of treasures and powers from countless worlds, unfathomable scriptures, legendary weapons, mysterious fruits, wish-granting artifacts, and powerful creatures. In short, as long as you possess enough points, all manner of treasures and divine beasts from the Myriad Realms can be exchanged. Listening to the voice in his mind, Yang Fan almost fainted from excitement. He even burst into manic laughter, unable to contain himself. The thought blazed within him: his life was about to change. He would finally rise and overturn his fate. Yet his elation lasted only a moment. Yang Fan suddenly noticed that on the luminous screen his current points were still displayed as 0. A surge of cold realization washed through him. With no points at all, talk of rising against fate was nothing but empty fantasy. He raked his fingers through his hair in agitation. The sudden blow nearly broke his spirit, but after a moment, hope flickered again. Yang Fan steadied himself and asked the system how he might obtain points. The system replied that points could be gained by slaying beasts and enemies, with rewards calibrated to their strength, from a single point up to 100 million. Alternatively, items could be recycled according to their value, then converted into points. Yang Fan fell silent for a moment, then frowned deeply. With my current strength at only the first level of body tempering, even an ordinary beast could easily overpower me. How am I supposed to hunt anything? Only the recycling of items sounds remotely feasible. Suddenly an idea flashed across his mind. Yang Fan's eyes lit up as he glanced toward the space beneath his bed. He asked the system half in jest yet half in earnest whether an old, everyday container there might be worth any points. The system answered with a firm admonition that he should not joke. After a brief pause it added that he need not despair. Because this was his first binding with the system, a special opportunity would be granted one chance to spin a lucky wheel. At these words a sharp gleam flashed across Yang Fan's eyes. With a clear chime the panel before him transformed into a dazzling many-colored wheel. The wheel was divided into 18 options. Among them were extraordinary fruits, profound scriptures, colossal war machines, powerful armaments, and even one oddly mundane item that made Yang Fan's lips twitch in disbelief. He muttered inwardly that no matter how strange this was no time to hesitate. He steeled himself. The situation outside was critical, there was no time for doubt. Yang Fan urged the wheel to begin, convinced that his luck could not possibly be so bad. As his silent command fell, the red pointer at the center of the wheel began to spin rapidly. Yang Fan clasped his hands together, murmuring inwardly, his gaze fixed and unblinking on the turning wheel. He stared without daring to blink. As the wheel's speed gradually slowed, the red pointer finally came to rest between two options. One a profound cultivation art, the other the odd, everyday object. Between them, Yang Fan's eyes widened as he leaned closer, startled to discover that there was yet another hidden option in that narrow space. As he leaned in, he saw that the concealed option was no larger than a fingernail, hidden so cleverly that it would have been impossible to notice without careful scrutiny. At that moment, the system's voice resounded once more. Ding! Congratulations to the host for drawing the mysterious grand prize with a chance of only 1 in 10,000, 100 trillion hydrogen bombs. Thus, amid the clamor of war outside his city, Yang Fan's fate was quietly rewritten by a single unbelievable draw. System prompt: due to the host's poor cultivation, the host can only use 3 mini hydrogen bombs per day, with the remaining bombs stored in the system space. Yang Fan's temples throbbed, nearly causing him to kick out in shock. But immediately after, Yang Fan asked in rapid succession, hydrogen bombs. System, is it the kind of hydrogen bombs I know? Yes. Holy crap. Yang Fan jumped up in surprise. Hydrogen bombs, the high-tech nuclear weapons of Earth, possess terrifying power. Just one could easily obliterate. Yet now he had drawn 100 trillion of them. What does that even mean? If he threw them all out, the entire Xuantian Continent would surely be blown to pieces, right? Even casually tossing out 17 or 18, and even the strong of this Xuantian Continent would be severely injured if not killed. This was going to the heavens. But then Yang Fan recalled the words the system had said. System, are you messing with me? Only 3 can be used in a day. And what on earth is this mini type? The 100 trillion hydrogen bombs are divided into mini, small, medium, large, super large, and ultimate hydrogen bombs. Due to the host's weak cultivation, in order to prevent being harmed by the bomb's power and blowing himself up, restrictions have been specially added. Keep it up, host. The higher your cultivation, the more you can use. Starting with 100 trillion hydrogen bombs, it's up to you to throw them. Yang Fan's forehead was covered in black lines. This must be a fake system, right? Even the playful game ads are coming out. Young master, the lady has been prepared, and the carriage is ready. Let's quickly leave Xuantian City. The butler's voice came again. Yang Fan fiercely rubbed his hair, his face full of struggle. After a moment, he asked system, how powerful is this mini hydrogen bomb? Within 100 meters, those below the blood-moving realm will be obliterated. Upon hearing this, a glint of excitement flashed in Yang Fan's eyes. He was almost bubbling with enthusiasm. Cultivation can be divided into body-tempering, blood-moving, spirit-refining, and even higher realms. Whether in Xuantian City or Yinzhou City, or within a radius of most martial artists are at the body-tempering stage, with very few at the blood-moving stage. Those at the spirit-refining stage are all old folks who rarely come out of seclusion. Even Yang Fan's father is only at the 6th level of blood-moving. A mini hydrogen bomb within 100 meters would directly obliterate those below the blood-moving stage. What are you running for? Just do it. The worthless bunch from Yinzhou City, just wait and see if I don't blow you all up. Without saying another word, Yang Fan rushed outside. As soon as he went out, he saw the butler Yang Ning, his mother Wang Shi, and a whole group of family members. Feiner, you finally came out. Let's go, Feiner, where are you going? The gate is that way, this way. Wang Shi saw Yang Fan and was about to call him to leave together. But Yang Fan merely smiled at his mother and ran straight towards the leaving behind a group of stunned people. As he sprinted, Yang Fan saw many townsfolk dragging their families loaded with bags, fleeing in the opposite direction, their faces filled with fear. The entire Xuantian City was in a state of panic. Is it that serious? It seems that Yinzhou City is determined to take down my Xuantian City. I wonder how my old man is doing. Looking ahead towards the city gate, the sounds of fierce fighting could be heard. The two sides had been battling for quite some time, and judging by the current situation, Xuantian City was an imminent. Hastening his steps, Yang Fan quickly reached the city gate. Young master Yang Fan, what are you doing here? A few city guards saw Yang Fan, with one leading the group looking at him in shock. He was covered in blood, radiating a murderous aura, clearly just back from the front lines. Enough nonsense, where's my father? The people from Yinshou City have surrounded the city. The city lord is discussing a solution. Young Master Yang Fan, you should leave here quickly, but it's too dangerous. The leader frowned tightly. Although he did not say it directly, everyone in Xuantian City knew that Yang Fan was a waste. His sudden appearance could only mean trouble. Yang Fan waved his hand and said, "Take me up. Well, I have a way to resolve this siege crisis." Young Master Yang Fan, please don't be reckless. The leader looked at Yang Fan speechlessly. What are you stalling for? Step aside, I'll go up myself. Yang Fan wasn't foolish, he knew no one would believe him, so he pushed a few people aside and quickly walked up to the city gate. Before long, Yang Fan arrived at the top of the city gate. But when he saw the scene outside the city gate, he was instantly shocked. In the distance, the army of Yinshou City numbered in the thousands, arranged neatly, exuding a murderous aura. Among them, over half were riding demon beasts. There were black-skinned rhinoceroses, fiery warhorses, and three-headed demon wolves. Yinshou City excelled in beast taming, using them as mounts. Their combat power skyrocketed. Now they had the people of Xuantian City tightly locked behind closed gates. The army surrounded the city, the atmosphere thick with a murderous intent, waiting for a single command to annihilate Xuantian City. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly a cloud of dust rose in the distance, accompanied by a series of booming sounds shaking the ground. Not good. Yinshou City is launching a beast rider charge. Archers, prepare to shoot. A deep voice boomed from atop the city gate, angrily directing the troops. Host, there is a martial art here that is very suitable for you. I can change it, right? Yang Fan was speechless and had to let the systems send him the information about that martial art. Tian. Even with Yang Langtian commanding, the combat power of both sides was evidently unequal. Defeat was merely a matter of time. It wouldn't take an hour for Xuantian City to suffer a crushing defeat. By then the city gates would be breached, homes destroyed, and Xuantian City would completely fall under the domain of the Flame Beast City. The situation was extremely urgent. It's time for my performance to begin. Yang Fan directly pulled out a miniature hydrogen bomb. In his hand appeared a 3-inch sized hydrogen bomb with a red tail and a white body. This thing is way too miniature. Does it really have that much power? Looking at the item smaller than his thumb, Yang Fan couldn't help but express disbelief. System, how do I detonate this thing? Ding, the host just needs to throw it, and the hydrogen bomb will explode upon impact. Reminder to the host, the explosion range of the hydrogen bomb is within 100 meters, and it's time to test your arm strength. Yang Fan swallowed hard, gritted his teeth, tightly gripped the miniature hydrogen bomb, then swung it around with all his might, shouting, "Annihilate." Swish. Although Yang Fan's cultivation was lacking, he was still a martial artist with the strength of the first stage of body refinement, and this miniature hydrogen bomb was thrown over 100 meters away. The miniature hydrogen bomb traced a parabolic arc, landing amidst the charging vanguard of the Flame Beast City. The next moment, boom. As the miniature hydrogen bomb hit the ground, it detonated instantly, unleashing a terrifying explosion of energy. At the center of the blast, hundreds of soldiers and beasts from Flame Beast City were caught completely off guard and obliterated. This scene shocked everyone. But it wasn't over. The true terror of the hydrogen bomb as a nuclear weapon lay not just in the immediate explosion, but in the high nuclear radiation that would spread shortly after. However, the system had informed him that the natural spiritual energy of this world could quickly counteract the side effects of nuclear radiation. Otherwise, Yang Fan wouldn't dare use it so recklessly. A mushroom cloud rose, and then a wave of high-temperature energy surged outward, radiating in all directions. Off. The cries of agony instantly echoed across the battlefield. At least 1,000 people and beasts were directly reduced to dust by that terrifying high temperature. The soldiers of Flame Beast City were utterly stunned. In an instant, they turned to retreat, while the rear troops were frightened and fled in panic. At the city gates, Yang Langtian and the numerous soldiers of Xuantian City were already dumbfounded, staring at the scene before them, their mouths agape in shock. What? Yang Langshan's lips trembled, his eyes wide as he gazed at the fleeing soldiers of Flame Beast City, his voice quaking as he asked, "Can someone tell me what just happened?" "Dad, how was that? My treasure is powerful, right?" At this moment, Yang Fan had already darted to Yang Langshan's side, grinning as he spoke. Turning his head, Yang Langtian looked at Yang Fan, a bit dazed, and instinctively said, "Why are you here, you rascal? Didn't I tell you to retreat with your mother?" "No need to. Look, the people of Flame Beast City are retreating in fear. Why run? With me here, everything is steady." Patting his chest, Yang Fan was full of pride. Just a moment ago, the system had notified him that he had gained 1275 points. Even if it was just a miniature version, it was still a hydrogen bomb, and its power was undeniable. It had directly annihilated over 1,000 of the enemy's forces. But Yang Langshan's expression darkened, and he shouted angrily, "What nonsense are you talking about? With your cultivation? Wait, what did you just say? That explosion was your doing." Suddenly, Yang Langshan's eyes widened, fixating intently on Yang Fan. Around them, many soldiers looked over, most wearing expressions of disbelief. What? Don't believe me? Yang Fan grinned widely, reaching into his pocket to pull out another hydrogen bomb, smiling at Yang Longtian. Just watch and see how I obliterate the people of Flame Beast City. With a firm stance, he swung his arm and shouted loudly, hurling the miniature hydrogen bomb once more. This time it was thrown even farther than before. Boom. After a few breaths, the hydrogen bomb exploded. Outside Xuantian City, many who hadn't retreated in time were once again blasted to smithereens. Yang Langtian and the others were dumbfounded, then turned to stare at Yang Fan in shock. Meanwhile, on the side of Flame Beast City, at the back of the army, a burly middle-aged man clad in purple gold battle armor wore a shocked expression, but soon his eyes filled with seriousness and apprehension. Xuantian City doesn't possess such powerful treasures. They must have hired a master capable of causing such substantial damage. Could it be a master at the spirit refinement stage? If that's the case, there is no hope for this attack on Xuantian City. Moreover, they cannot afford to offend a master at the spirit refinement stage. After much thought, the man, though reluctant, still issued the command, relay the order from the city lord, retreat. At the gates of Xuantian City, Yang Langtian had yet to recover from his shock when he saw the forces of Flame Beast City beginning to retreat rapidly, thus resolving the crisis of Xin. Why are they leaving? I still have one hydrogen bomb left to use. Yang Fan felt a bit unfulfilled upon seeing the retreat of Flame Beast City. Just a moment ago, the second hydrogen bomb had brought him another 857 points. He was ready to go all out and use the third hydrogen bomb to earn even more points. However, keeping one for emergencies wouldn't be bad either. 2 hydrogen bombs have earned me 2,132 points. I should be able to exchange for some good items, right? Yang Fan chuckled foolishly, just about to open the system, when he heard Yang Langshan's voice beside him. Son, what was that? Treasure you threw out just now. Yang Fan was taken aback for a moment, then grinned and said, that's an explosion talisman. Once activated, it can explode instantly. The concept of a hydrogen bomb is beyond their understanding, and the people of this world are completely unaware of such things. However, talismans do exist. Although this one's power is a bit excessive, it is still within an acceptable range. Where did you get this? Talisman is indeed a rare item. Yang Langtian was well aware of his family's background. Such a powerful talisman capable of such strength could not be found even in higher-tier cities, let alone in Xuantian City. The surrounding soldiers were also staring at Yang Fan. After considering Yang Fan feigned mystery and said, Dad, your son has struck lucky. Recently, I became an apprentice to a master, and this is a gift from my master. A master? Yang Langtian looked at Yang Fan with suspicion and asked, which senior has passed through my Xuantian City? I'm not sure. My master is very mysterious. After giving me some magical artifacts and teaching me some cultivation techniques, he left. The system's matters are Yang Fan's greatest secret, one he cannot reveal even to his closest ones. Therefore, the tropes from fantasy novels are most suitable to use it. The fact that such a powerful artifact can be produced means that the senior's strength has certainly reached the spirit refinement stage, or even stronger. Yang Langtian did not doubt it. This was the only explanation for the situation. He glanced at Yang Fan, his face filled with a proud smile. His son encountering such a mysterious and immensely powerful master was indeed his fortune. Then Yang Langtian turned around and shouted, the crisis is over. Everyone quickly clean up the battlefield. Those injured, send them for treatment immediately, and for those who died in battle, dispatch someone to provide compensation. As expected of the city lord, he acted decisively and arranged everything. Yang Fan, on the other hand, looked at the soldiers starting to clean up the battlefield and shook his head regretfully. There were many spoils of war on the battlefield. If only the system could collect them, the points converted from them would not be insignificant. But now, with so many people around, it would inevitably. In the city lord's mansion, Yang Fan's room. With the crisis of the city lifted, someone naturally went to handle the aftermath, and Yang Fan returned to the city lord's mansion. System, is there any way to enhance my own strength? Although he repelled the Flame Beast City with a hydrogen bomb, Yang Fan also noticed that many powerful individuals survived the bomb's explosion. The mini hydrogen bomb still has its limits. Currently, Yang Fan can only use 3 mini hydrogen bombs in a day. If they run out, any stronger opponent could easily kill him. In this world where strong individuals are everywhere, having strong personal power is the greatest guarantee. Thus, Yang Fan is eager to enhance his strength. Ding, the host can check the exchange shop. With a thought, a light screen appeared. Host Yang Fan. Identity, only son of the city lord of Xuantian City. Cultivation, level body tempering, first layer. Martial arts, iron origin palm, not yet learned. Swift wind leg technique, not yet learned. Points 2,132. Exchange shop opened. Items 100 trillion mini hydrogen bombs, currently available quantity 1. With over 2,000 points, I should be able to exchange for something, right? Open the exchange shop. As soon as he spoke, the light screen changed. A plethora of artifacts and treasures dazzled Yang Fan's eyes. But upon seeing the points required for the later items, his excitement quickly dimmed. Ding, the host can check the training options in the exchange shop. Hearing the system's prompt, Yang Fan began to search the light screen and soon found a training option at the top. Opening it revealed two options. The first one, accelerated training. 3 times training speed requires 1,000 points to activate 3 times training speed. 5 times training speed requires 50,000 points to activate 5 times training speed. 10 times training speed requires 200,000 points to activate 10 times training speed. 30 times training speed requires 500,000 points to activate 30 times training speed. The duration of the enhanced training speed is 3 days. The second option is the AFK training room. There are a total of 999 rooms. Training for 1 day in the first room is equivalent to 3 days of external training, costing 500 points per day. The second room lasts for 6 days, costing 1,000 points per day. The higher the room level, the faster the cultivation increase, but correspondingly more points are required. Each room contains numerous experience beasts that can enhance cultivation, and some also hide beasts that can drop skills. The more you kill, the greater the rewards. While this is a bit over the top, accelerated training, AFK training, Yang Fan was stunned. It was akin to having a personal assistant allowing him to cultivate without lift, yet Yang Fan hesitated. Looking at the two training options, Yang Fan stroked his chin and muttered, "With my current points, if I choose the second option, I can only train for 4 days in the first room, equivalent to 12 days of training. Whereas the first option with 3 times training speed lasting 3 days seems slightly more expensive at 1,000 points, but comparatively, it might be more worthwhile." After much thought, Yang Fan chose the first option. System exchange for 3 times training speed. Ding, points deducted, 3 times training speed activated. Remaining points 1132. Ding, as this is the host's first time activating the automatic training function, the system grants the host a onady experience of 30 times training speed. Yang Fan was stunned. There's even this kind of benefit. Not daring to delay, he immediately sat cross-legged, activated the family cultivation technique, and began to cultivate. In the next moment, Yang Fan felt the speed of his cultivation technique operating within him skyrocketing, and the surrounding spiritual energy was madly absorbed. The influx of spiritual energy into his body brought a feeling of comfort that almost made Yang Fan cry out. No wonder it's 30 times training speed. This feeling is heavenly. At this rate, I might break through to the body tempering 7th or 8th layer in a day. With such fantasies, Yang Fan wasted no time and continued cultivating. A night passed. What the hell, I can't believe that after half a day of 30 times training speed, I only broke through to the body tempering 3rd layer. Are you kidding me? Yang Fan was dumbfounded. Under the assistance of the external training, his cultivation barely broke through to the body tempering 3rd layer. Under normal circumstances, with such training speed, an average person could at least reach the body tempering 5th layer, if not break through to the 7th or 8th layer. My body's constitution is truly garbage. Even with all this, it's fortunate I'm not being ground into the dirt. Extremely irritated and in a bad mood, Yang Fan scratched his head and then asked in his mind, "System, is there any way to improve my constitution? The cultivation technique you are practicing is too mediocre. Even if you change your constitution, it won't help. I recommend you practice a different technique." Subsequently, a light screen automatically appeared. It displayed countless cultivation techniques of varying attributes and tiers. Yang Fan was dumbfounded. Is this system toxic? Where was this before? System, would it kill you to say this earlier? I wasted half a day with 30 times training. You never asked, did you? Well, I'm at a loss for words. Yang Fan's mouth twitched. He no longer argued with the system and quickly began to browse. In this world, the ranks of cultivation methods are divided into 4 tiers: heaven, earth, profound, and yellow, with 3 levels, each upper, middle, and lower. This reveals the overall strength of Qianshan City within the territory of the 100 nations. Gazing at these extraordinary cultivation methods, Yang Fan felt an immense envy, yet the required points left him in despair. He currently had just over 1,000 points and was anxious, wondering if this meager amount could exchange for a cultivation method. Shaking his head, Yang Fan looked at the luminous screen. The Xian Yuan Tai Ching Ju, a heaven-ear upper-level method, costs 800,000 points. The immovable Hell King technique, a heaven-ear middle-level method, costs 300,000 points. The Ancestor Scripture, a heaven-ear lower-level method, costs 100,000 points. The Hunyuan Ju, a profound tier upper-level method, costs 150,000 points. The Qingfeng Leiyan Classic, a profound tier lower-level method, costs 50,000 points. The Posh Mountain Ju, a yellow tier upper-level method, costs 10,000 points. Yang Fan wore a face of hopelessness and dumbly asked, "System, are you this ruthless? A yellow tier cultivation method requires over 10,000 points. Oh, what can I exchange for?" Ding. Due to the host's insufficient points, a special promotion event will be held, and the host can enjoy a rock-bottom discount to purchase a cultivation method for only 1,000 points. Would the host like to proceed with the purchase? Upon hearing this, Yang Fan's mood suddenly brightened. This promotion is quite appealing. A rock-bottom discount allows the purchase of a profound tier lower-level cultivation method for only 1,000 points. Although it isn't particularly high, it's at least better than the method he is currently practicing. Wait, could there be a catch? This system is quite devious. But my current method is truly garbage. If I delay any longer, how can I turn the tables? Looking at the list of cultivation methods on the system, Yang Fan muttered, although the system isn't very reliable, it shouldn't harm me as a host. They'll believe it one more time. System, please exchange that cultivation method for me. Ding. Points deducted, remaining 132 points. The cultivation method has been issued. The host can check it in the system space. Looking at the few remaining points, Yang Fan let out a deep sigh and then accessed the system space, where he found an old yellowed book lying there. Upon clicking it, information about the cultivation method appeared before Yang Fan's eyes. The Sky Swallowing Technique, first chapter, incomplete, profound tier lower level. The Sky Swallowing Technique is an incredibly mysterious cultivation method said to not belong to the Xuantian Continent. It can devour all things, enhancing the practitioner's strength, and is extraordinarily domineering. When practiced to its utmost depth, one can swallow the heavens and earth in one bite, annihilating the universe. The original tier is unknown, as the complete method has been lost for over 10,000 years, with only 1/10 of its content remaining in the Xuantian Continent. The remaining fragments of the method can only be practiced up to the 9th level of blood-moving realm. Thus it is rated as a profound tier lower-level method. Looking at this introduction, it seems quite impressive. However, system, you are truly a scam. I can only practice up to the 9th level of blood-moving realm, and the subsequent methods have been lost for over 10,000 years. Who would be foolish enough to practice this? At that moment, the system's voice echoed in his mind. Host, please note that the complete content of this method has been supplemented by the system. As long as you have sufficient points, you can exchange for the subsequent content. Yang Fan's face darkened. The system is truly mischievous. It didn't mention a single word beforehand, but now it tells him this, meaning Yang Fan can only continue exchanging for the follow-up methods here. Moreover, he has no idea how many points it would take. After grumbling a few words, Yang Fan began to practice the Sky Swallowing Technique. There was no choice. Currently, it was the only profound tier method he had. Although it was incomplete, it was better than having nothing. The points required for those cultivation methods in the exchange mall were terrifying. With Yang Fan's current strength, it would take ages for him to earn them himself. First, he needed to enhance his strength. He would deal with the rest later. Then, following the incantation in the Sky Swallowing Technique, Yang Fan sat cross-legged, closed his eyes, and began to cultivate. Boom. After merely circulating for one cycle, a tremendous pulling force surged from Yang Fan's dantian, beginning to frantically devour the surrounding spiritual. With the 30-fold acceleration of training still in effect, the speed astonished Yang Fan completely. The overwhelming spiritual energy impacted his limbs and bones, as well as his meridians. Vaguely, he felt a tearing sensation. Yang Fan did not dare to slack off, hastily focusing his mind and diligently circulating the technique, absorbing the spiritual energy. Unbeknownst to him, Yang Fan's cultivation began to gradually increase. Meanwhile, 100 miles north of Xuantian City, in several villages, screams filled the air and sorrow pervaded the land. Hundreds of bandits invaded the villages, killing and robbing at will. The common folk fled in all directions. This group of people were a gang of bandits gathered in the nearby Haiyan mountain range belonging to the Black Wind stronghold. Their rampant behavior was due to having heard the news that Yin Beast City was attacking Xuantian City and would soon break through. At that time, Xuantian City would change hands. Currently, Xuantian City was too preoccupied to care for itself. Therefore, the Black Wind stronghold and 4 other strongholds joined forces, amounting to thousands of troops. They began to rampantly plunder dozens of villages near the mountains. Meanwhile, in the city lord's mansion, Yang Langtian darkened upon hearing reports from his subordinates. Those bandits are truly courting death. But currently, the city lord's mansion can muster no more than 1,000 men. Resolving this issue will be quite difficult. Pondering this, Yang Langtian looked at the dozen or so deputy generals standing nearby. Gentlemen who is willing to take the lead and eliminate a batch of bandits. Once Xuantian City stabilizes, I will immediately send troops to wipe out those strongholds. The deputy generals exchanged glances, and one robust man stepped forward. He had an imposing physique and exuded a fierce aura. His name was Su Yuan, with a cultivation at the 2nd level of blood-moving realm, a capable aide of Yang Langtian. I am willing. Wait, old man, leave this to me. He'll ensure that all those rascals from the Black Wind stronghold are eliminated within a month. Before Su Yuan could finish speaking, a clear voice interrupted. Immediately, everyone saw Yang Fan running in with a beaming smile. Young Master Yang Fan. The others greeted him, their eyes filled with curiosity and surprise. Yang Fan was the one who resolved the crisis of the besieged city, a fact that had long spread. In 2 encounters, he had annihilated thousands of troops from Yin Beast City, ultimately scaring them away. How could they not be astonished? At the same time, they were increasingly curious about who the master behind Yang Fan was capable of casually providing him with such powerful treasure. Yang Fan, however, went straight to Yang Langtian and said, "Father, it's just a few bandits. There's no need for the deputy generals. Leave it to me, and I guarantee that I will wipe out those rascals from the Black Wind stronghold within a month." What nonsense are you spouting? With your cultivation at the first level of body refinement. Huh, the fourth level of body refinement. How did your cultivation? Just as he was about to reprimand Yang Fan for talking nonsense, astonishment appeared on Yang Langshan's face as he sensed Yang Fan's cultivation. Just yesterday Yang Fan was at the first level of body refinement, and within a single night, he had jumped to the fourth level. A breakthrough of 3 levels in one night. This speed of cultivation is truly astonishing, even to the point of being considered abnormal. It seems you have found a good master. Yang Lang's eyes were filled with satisfaction. This little rascal had finally allowed him to breathe a sigh of relief. As a father, he could not help but feel anger deep inside when Yang Fan was called a useless waste over the year. No matter how many spiritual herbs, remedies, or renowned masters he sought, none could help Yang Fan make any significant progress in his cultivation. Now, with a mysterious and powerful master, Yang Fan's cultivation was advancing by leaps and bounds. If this continued, Yang Lang would finally have someone to carry on the family. But soon Yang Lang's expression turned stern as he spoke. Though you possess treasures given by your master, they must be limited. Plus your cultivation is still too low, so forget about dealing with bandits. It's too dangerous. Dad, have a little faith in your son. They're just a bunch of bandits. Yang Fan waved his hand and smiled. You've seen the power of that treasure. All I need to do is sneak into their lair and throw one. How could any bandit survive? Moreover, my master has said that to become strong, one must endure trials. How can I grow stronger while staying here in Xuantian City under your protection? Most importantly, those are all points. From what Yang Fan understood, those bandit dens had at least hundreds, if not thousands, of bandits. Their strength typically only reached the body refinement stage. In his eyes, anyone below the blood transformation stage was just a weakling, all potential points for him. Additionally, with the hydrogen bomb refreshed today, Yang Fan currently possessed 4 mini hydrogen bombs. If one bomb isn't enough, then he'll use 2. This? Yang Lang hesitated, glancing at the soldiers. Young Master, Yang Fan has a point. How can a cultivator grow without experiencing battle? City Lord, since the young master has this intention, we should fulfill his wish. Moreover, it won't be long before we dispatch support. Hearing the soldier's words, Yang Lang's gaze wavered. All right then. But ultimately, he sighed, nodded, and looked at Yang Fan with a solemn expression. But you must remember, safety comes first. If you find yourself outmatched, flee immediately. Don't be reckless. Yang Fan chuckled. No worries, I'm quite cautious about my life, and won't let the Yang family down. After playfully scolding him, Yang Lang waved his hand. There are matters in the city that require my attention. In no more than 5 days, Xuantian City will send troops. You go now and don't embarrass me. Nodding, Yang Fan turned to leave. Phew. Now I have a way to earn points. He'll go back, prepare some things, and set off to earn points. Yang Fan made his way back to the city lord's mansion and began his preparations. After finishing his cultivation yesterday, he was already thinking about how to earn points. Coincidentally, he heard about the bandits looting villages and immediately knew an opportunity had arisen. At this time, less than 3 hours remained for the 30 times accelerated cultivation. With Yang Fan's current qualifications and techniques, he couldn't reach the 5th level of body refinement, so he simply decided to go earn some points. Soon after preparing everything, he greeted his mother and headed straight for the Hian Mountain Range. The Hian Mountain Range stretched for thousands of miles, filled with ferocious beasts where ordinary people dared not linger, even at the outskirts. A figure swiftly dashed through the forest, gradually reaching the outskirts of the Hian Mountain Range. Pat! Yang Fan paused atop a large tree, catching his breath, surveying his surroundings, and murmuring, my cultivation is still too low. After half a day's travel, I've exhausted so much energy. It seems I need to think of a way to sneak into those bandit camps. Setting out from Xuantian City, Yang Fan finally arrived at the Hian Mountain Range as night fell. Along the way, he also saw some looted villages. The scenes were heartbreaking, with countless families devastated. Watching the ruins, Yang Fan's anger began to rise. Along the way, he also eliminated some lone bandits and small bandit groups. They were all at the body refinement stages 3 and 4, and Yang Fan easily dealt with them, earning some points. However, he had yet to encounter the main force. Nevertheless, as he continued on, his determination to eliminate those bandit camps grew stronger. Just ahead in a valley about 10 miles away lies the headquarters of Qingfeng Camp. Tonight he'll sneak in and set off a hydrogen bomb. In Xuantian City, there was information about all the bandit camps in the Hian Mountain Range. Yang Fan gauged the direction and confirmed it. However, this place is the Hian Mountain Range, home to ferocious beasts. Although it's on the outskirts, it mainly harbors low-level beasts, so one must not be careless. With no points and the 30 times accelerated experience time up, I really can't praise this speed of cultivation. During his rest, Yang Fan practiced a bit. But compared to the state during 30 times accelerated training, the difference was like heaven and earth. Moreover, Yang Fan's current points couldn't even exchange for a single session of 3 times accelerated training. Yet better than nothing, Yang Fan cultivated while waiting for midnight to arrive. Soon midnight was approaching. Yang Fan had fully recovered to peak condition, and without hesitation, he swiftly headed towards the direction of Qingfeng Camp. With Yang Fan's cultivation at the 4th level of body refinement, the 10-mile distance took him less than half an hour, and the scenery before him gradually opened up. Using the moonlight, he saw the outline of a valley appear in his line of sight. Whoosh! Yang Fan stopped, took a slight breath, and then quickly moved, hiding behind a tree. Stay alert. The beasts in the high-end mountain range have been restless lately. Don't let them invade the camp. A man's voice echoed. Soon 4 figures slowly approached. They were 4 men in black armor with disheveled hair and a somewhat rogue demeanor. In their hands, they each held a large knife. Hey, those guys from Sanzi's group looted a village today and got plenty of good stuff. Damn it, why did we get assigned to patrol? One of the small leaders spat and said, stop complaining and patrol properly. If something goes wrong, you'll be the ones in trouble. The others shrugged and continued their patrol. No one noticed Yang Fan hiding not far away behind a tree. The guards are tight. This broken camp even has people patrolling. Yang Fan frowned, but quickly grinned. Since it's difficult to get in, simply avoid it, the valley. Qingfeng Camp has indeed chosen a good location. Muttering to himself, Yang Fan formed a plan in his mind. He immediately crouched low and edged closer to Qingfeng Camp. Qingfeng Village, nestled in the valley, offers an unobstructed view of the mountains ahead. The cliff behind is extremely high, making it impossible for even blood-moving realm warriors to climb. Coupled with the numerous defenses set by Qingfeng Village, it has become a place that is easy to defend but hard to attack. The leader of Qingfeng Village, Wang Yuan, possesses a cultivation level of the 2nd tier of blood-moving realm, with a total of 1,500 villagers, ranking among the top 5 bandit dens in the high mountain range. Lying on a tree, Yang Fan gazed at the distant Qingfeng Village, various pieces of information about it floating in his mind, a faint smile appearing on his lips tinged with a hint of they burn, kill, and plunder, committing every conceivable evil. They are a bunch of worthless scoundrels. This distance isn't sufficient to reach the heart of the village, and the destructive power won't fully unleash. After a moment's thought, Yang Fan asked in his mind system, is there a slingshot available in the exchange shop? Host, do you want a silver slingshot or a golden slingshot? Or perhaps an iron slingshot? Yang Fan was puzzled. Oh, what was up with this system? And why did the voice sound so familiar? Can you speak properly? Not wanting to deal with this foolish system, Yang Fan entered the exchange shop and began to search. After a long while, in the farthest corner, he spotted a selection of slingshots. Iron slingshot, 10 points, range of 50 meters, accuracy of 50%. Silver slingshot, 50 points, range of 100 meters, accuracy of 80%. Golden slingshot, 100 points, range of 300 meters, accuracy of 90%. Yang Fan currently had 298 points. This was due to resolving some bandits and exterminating several demon beasts on the way, allowing the system to recover the demon beast corpses. It was pitifully low. Host, I suggest you exchange for the golden slingshot. It has sufficient range, decent accuracy, and is a good value. Stop it, I don't want to talk to you right now. With the deduction of points, his already limited points reduced by a third. The next moment, a golden, exquisitely crafted slingshot appeared in Yang Fan's hand. For a golden slingshot. With the deduction of points, his already limited points reduced by a third. The next moment, a golden, exquisitely crafted slingshot appeared in Yang Fan's hand. For a golden, he didn't know what material it was made of, but it felt incredibly solid. The elastic bands were also extremely resilient. Pulling on them showed they could easily withstand the full force of a 6th-tier body refinement practitioner. Interesting, this just got fun, haha. Yang Fan's eyes sparkled. Without further delay, he began searching for the best launching point. In the night, using the moonlight, Yang Fan searched for a while and finally found the optimal angle. With a flick of thought, a mini hydrogen bomb appeared in his hand. Half squatting, Yang Fan began to draw back the slingshot. Almost at its limit, he aimed at Qingfeng Village, and in the next moment, whoosh. The mini hydrogen bomb tore through the air at an incredible speed towards Qingfeng Village. Its speed was at least 3 times faster than a hand throw. He watched as the mini hydrogen bomb fell from the sky, traveling over 300 meters and landing almost at the center of Qingfeng Village. Boom! A deafening explosion echoed throughout the valley, followed by a wave of high-temperature energy rippling outward. Oh! The shrieks that followed were quickly overshadowed by a series of crackling sounds. The explosion caused the cliff walls to shatter, sending rocks tumbling down into Qingfeng Village below. From the first wave of hydrogen bomb explosions, Yang Fan earned over 8. The explosion caused the cliff walls to shatter, sending rocks tumbling down into Qingfeng Village below. From the first wave of hydrogen, recalling the actions of these bandit scoundrels, he gritted his teeth and launched another mini hydrogen bomb. Another earth-shattering explosion followed. In just a moment, this valley, and particularly Qingfeng village, was reduced to ruins. These two mini hydrogen bombs along with the falling rocks meant that even the leader, a second-tier blood-moving realm warrior, couldn't escape and perished before realizing what was happening. With another surge of points, Yang Fan turned around and ran. Qingfeng village destroyed. This village, ranked among the top 5 in the Haiyan mountain range, was obliterated by Yang Fan. Only a few patrolling and returning lackeys managed to escape. The night was bright and starry. Yang Fan sat cross-legged by a lake, practicing diligently under the effects of a threefold acceleration. At this point, Yang Fan's cultivation had reached the peak of the 4th tier of body refinement, on the verge of breaking through to the 5th tier. After destroying Qingfeng village, he found a place to rest and immediately exchanged for a threefold acceleration in training. In just a few days, Yang Fan practiced during the day, hunted demon beasts, and collected herbs to exchange for points, while at night, he lurked to find the locations of those bandit dens, exterminating those scoundrels. In a short span of 3 days, Yang Fan had already obliterated 7 bandit dens. Host Yang Fan. Identity: the only son of the city, Lord of Qinshan City. Cultivation: 4th tier of body refinement. Cultivation method: swallowing heaven technique, fragmented lower grade, Xian rank. Martial arts: iron element palm, yellow grade lower rank, not yet mastered. Wind chase leg technique, yellow grade middle rank, not yet mastered. Points: 7,688. Exchange shop open. Items: 100 billion mini hydrogen bombs, currently usable quantity 1. Yang Fan's personal information had undergone some changes. Aside from a surge in points, the two martial arts not only displayed their rank, but also had an additional plus sign. Phew. The peak of the 4th tier of body refinement, just a bit more to go. Awakening from his training state, Yang Fan took a deep breath. Yang Fan's personal information had undergone some changes. Aside from a surge in points, the two martial arts not only displayed their rank, but also had however, a person's true strength is not solely determined by their cultivation. Now that I have enough points, should I upgrade my martial arts? Having read quite a few system-themed fantasy novels, Yang Fan couldn't help but know what the plus sign meant. It would take time to improve his cultivation, but if he had a few formidable martial arts, his odds in battle would increase significantly. With a decision made, Yang Fan prepared to start allocating points. Ding reminder to the host: the martial arts you previously practiced were far too low-level, not recommended for upgrading. Yang Fan was stunned for a moment, then realized, oh right, these two martial arts were just ones I picked up haphazardly. Even in my Yang family, they could only be considered subpar. Even if I mastered them to perfection, they can't compare to a single Xian grade. Wait, you dog system, are you trying to con my points again by suggesting I switch to a different martial art? Ding, this system guarantees quality and is also considering the host's interests. A good martial art, even if just an entry-level one, is 100 times better than these mediocre ones. Yang Fan chuckled and said, haven't you ever read a novel? Do you know what it means to return to the essence? The power of martial arts does not depend on rank, but on the person using them. Host, there is a martial art here that is very suitable for you. I can change it, right? Yang Fan was speechless and had to let the system send him the information about that martial art. Tian. Xiaoyao Yu, a low-grade mystical martial art, a movement-based technique. Treading on snow without leaving a trace, riding the wind to roam the world. This is an exceptionally superior martial art in lightness techniques, as light as a wild goose, graceful like a startled swan, and unfathomable. This martial art seems a bit powerful, but what do you mean by this system? A movement-based martial art. Are you saying my cultivation is so poor that I can only escape? The system fell silent. Yang Fan twitched the corners of his mouth. However, the system was not without reason. Given Yang Fan's current cultivation level, when encountering a slightly stronger martial artist, he indeed could only escape. Of course, if he were to use a hydrogen bomb, it would be a different story. However, the explosion range of a hydrogen bomb is within 100 meters, indiscriminate between friend and foe, directly turning anyone below the blood realm into ashes. Could it be that in the future, when Yang Fan faces an enemy, they will let him run 100 meters first, or fight him from 100 meters away? That's not realistic. Therefore, a means of self-preservation is necessary, and the movement-based martial art is the best choice among self-preservation techniques. Yang Fan accepted it and asked, how many points does this martial art cost? During the recent major discount period, all items will have a certain discount. After the discount, this martial art only costs 3,000 points. What did you say? 3,000. Yang Fan was speechless. This system truly deserves to be called a black heart system. Even with the discount, it still costs 3,000. With these 3,000 points, Yang Fan could exchange for 3 times of triple speed practice. Can it be any cheaper? Ding, this is already the cheapest. However, the host can add 100 points, and the system will grant the host 1 lottery chance. Yang Fan clenched his fist, gritting his teeth, and said, I can't believe your nonsense. What items are there in this lottery? The host will know once they draw. After a long time, Yang Fan finally swallowed his resentment and helplessly waved his hand. Fine, having spent 3,000 already, I don't care about this 100 points left. Ding, points deducted. The item has been delivered to the system space. The host has 4,588 points remaining. Lottery begins. In front of Yang Fan, a light screen appeared revealing a large roulette filled with items. Huntian gun, 3 parts, return to Yuan, Chi premium spirit stones, Bagua mirror. Quite a few good items, but what is that barbecue rack? Looking at the dazzling array of items on the roulette, Yang Fan swallowed hard, but when he saw some obviously terrible items, he felt an impulse to curse. Before Yang Fan could say anything, the large roulette began to spin. Yang Fan's eyes were glued to the pointer on the roulette. After a while, the roulette slowed down, and finally the pointer stopped on one option. Congratulations to the host, you have drawn a rare item with a 1% winning rate. The pet egg has been delivered to the system space. The host can check it at any time. Raising an eyebrow, a glimmer of surprise appeared in Yang Fan's eyes. With such a low probability, it must be a good item. Although the system is trying to take advantage of his points, what he exchanges each time is definitely not bad. This 100 points were worth it. Haha, let's check the pet egg. The light screen in the system space appeared and Yang Fan saw a milky white egg similar to a chicken egg lying inside. Rubbing his hands, Yang Fan clicked on it with great anticipation. Pet egg, an egg bred by an unknown monster, unhatched. Rank unknown. Ability unknown. Yang Fan frowned and said, what's going on? Why is this information so vague? Ding, due to the vast number of pet eggs in the exchange mall, and since the lottery is random, the specific information of the pet egg drawn cannot be known until it hatches. Damn, unhatched, isn't this a scam? Scratching his head, Yang Fan gritted his teeth and said, I'm a human, I can't hatch eggs, what use is this draw? Don't worry, host, this system provides a hatching function. The host only needs to pay 100 points to hatch it. Hearing this, Yang Fan felt an impulse to curse. This damned system really tries every possible means to take his points. Taking a deep breath several times, Yang Fan finally suppressed the urge to curse and said word by word, okay, host. In just a few seconds, the system's voice came again. Ding, the pet egg has been successfully hatched. Ding, since this is the host's first pet, the pet space has now opened, and the hatched pet has been placed in the pet space. As the system's voice fell, the light screen in front of Yang Fan changed. A pet space with 10 slots appeared. In the first slot, there curled up a yellow fluffy creature. Yang Fan tremblingly pointed at it. Swish. In the next moment, a ball-like yellow fluffy thing appeared in Yang Fan's hands. Soft and warm. As if sensing something, the fluffy ball in his hand gently shook. Then the yellow ball stretched out. A creature resembling a chick appeared before Yang Fan's eyes. The chick seemed to be half awake with its small eyes half opened in a daze. Its small white beak pecked a couple of times, and its 2 fluffy little wings flapped a couple of times. It was indeed incredibly cute. Immediately, the little creature seemed to sense something, turned its small head and looked at Yang Fan. First curious, after blinking a few times, its purple-streaked pupils suddenly lit up. Flapping more vigorously, it emitted a series of chirping sounds. Meanwhile, the corners of Yang Fan's mouth twitched violently, and the hand holding the little creature trembled. What the hell? System, come out and give me an explanation. What the hell is this chick? Yang Fan was going crazy looking at the little creature flapping in his hands, its eyes squinting in joy. His mindset completely exploded. Are you kidding me? Spent 200 points to get this thing. Isn't this just a chick that was born not long ago in Yang Fan's impression? A pet egg. Does he really think that Yang Fan's points are just falling from the sky to be taken so casually? Host, don't be agitated. This is a product of the system. There are absolutely no defective items. You might as well take a look at the pet's information. Look at your grandpa. Do I even need to look? It's a chick. Should I hatch it and eat it? It's only this big. With just a couple of pecks, it'll be gone. Host, don't forget this is a mystical world. There are no ordinary animals. Yang Fan was taken aback, finally regaining a bit of rationality. Thinking for a moment, it seems to make sense. Why not? Take a look at the information first. Watching the small creature in his hand that was still flapping and occasionally nudging its little head against his palm, Yang Fan was afraid it would fall. Pet Yinkei hatchling. The Yinkei can grow into a 4th-tier demon beast adept at flying with moderate attack power, but exceptional speed. At its peak, even 5th and 6th-tier demon beasts cannot catch up when the Yinkei is at full speed. It possesses a trace of the ancient Thunder Phoenix bloodline, allowing for ancestral regression under special circumstances, enabling evolution into the 5th-tier demon beast 9 Heavens Yinkei. If there are sufficient opportunities to devour the blood essence of 9 types of 6th-tier demon beasts, it can achieve ultimate evolution and become a 7th-tier demon beast, the ancient Thunder Phoenix. Rank early stage 1st tier, can level up, can evolve. Abilities: high-speed movement, aerial strike. Master Yang Fan. After reading the information on the screen, Yang Fan couldn't help but look down at the little chick in his hand with is this for real? Such a small creature actually has the potential to evolve into a 7th-tier demon beast. In the Xuantian Continent, demon beasts roamed freely, and there were countless strong beings among their ranks. They are categorized from weak to strong into 7 tiers. Each tier is further divided into early, mid, and late stages. Among the known demon beasts in the 100 nations, the strongest is merely a latest-stage 4th-tier demon beast. 5th-tier demon beasts are said to exist only in certain forbidden zones. As for 6th-tier demon beasts, they have become legends rumored to appear in sacred lands, but have not been seen for nearly 1,000 years. As for 7th-tier demon beasts, they are recorded only in some ancient manuscripts. Hosts do not doubt the information recorded by the system is absolutely accurate. Yang Fan chuckled and said, "Come on now, this little thing is just a weak early-stage 1st tier. How long would it take to evolve into a 7th-tier demon beast? Isn't this just nonsense? This system is just a big blood pit giving me a little chick to mess with my host." Gigi. At this moment, perhaps sensing that Yang Fan was not fond of it, the little chick, oh no, the little Yankee, let out a few dissatisfied chirps. Swish. In the next moment, Yang Fan was dazzled as a yellow light burst forth. The little Yankee actually flew straight up, darting around in the air. That speed was such that Yang Fan could barely see it clearly. What? It can fly right after hatching. And so fast. This is outrageous. Yang Fan was astonished watching the little Yankee that had just hatched freely soaring through the air, its mouth agape in shock. A surge of exhilaration began to swell within him. Although the little Yank's current tier was only early stage 1st tier, its speed was already comparable to that of a 5th or even 6th layer martial artist. Gigi. After flying for a while, the little Yankee seemed tired and landed by Yang Fan's feet. It nudged Yang Fan's foot with its little head and let out a few dissatisfied. Judging by its appearance, it seemed to be hungry. Yang Fan squatted down, cradling the little Yankee in his hands, unable to hide the joy on his face. "Haha, little one, you've truly given me a big surprise. Are you hungry? Well, you just hatched and haven't eaten anything yet, so I'll get you something to eat right away." But soon Yang Fan was troubled, wondering where he could find food for the little Yankee at that moment. Besides, he didn't even know what the little Yankee ate. Ding, the host can feed the hatched eggshell to the pet. Yang Fan was taken aback, then slapped his forehead. Right, I remember that many animals eat their eggshells after hatching, which contain a lot of nutrients. Since the eggshell is provided by the pet, no points will be deducted, and it has been stored in the system space. At least you did something conscientious. Yang Fan pouted and quickly took out the eggshell. As soon as the milky white eggshell appeared, the little Yank's eyes lit up, and it rushed towards Yang Fan. Seeing this, Yang Fan also picked up a piece of the eggshell and handed it to the little Yankee. The little Yankee excitedly extended its 2 tiny wings, cradling the eggshell, and began to peck at it. It was enjoying its meal immensely. As it continued eating, Yang Fan noticed that the little Yank's body seemed to have grown a little. By the time the little Yankee finished the entire eggshell, its body had grown a few inches and was almost larger than Yang Fan's palm. Its little claws were stretching and retracting, beginning to take on a hint of sharpness. "Little one, let's give you a name. You look so fluffy and yellow all over. How about calling you Big Yellow?" Gigi. Hearing this name, the little Yankee immediately objected, chirping at Yang Fan, clearly displeased with the name. Yang Fan smiled awkwardly. "You're quite picky. How about calling you Xiaoyan?" Gigi. The little Yank's eyes narrowed, seemingly satisfied. Seeing this, Yang Fan nodded. "Then from now on, your name will be Xiaoyan." Gigi. Flapping joyfully in Yang Fan's palm, it twirled around twice. But soon the little Yank's wings folded up, rubbing its eyes. It seemed to be getting sleepy. It nudged Yang Fan's palm with its little head, turned around twice, then found a comfortable spot, and curled up, falling asleep. Wow, this little creature is really adorable. If a girl saw it, she'd definitely melt. Seeing the little one asleep, a smile unconsciously appeared on Yang Fan's face. Ding, the host can place the pet into the pet space where the environment is most suitable for the pet's survival, allowing it to recover its spirit and replenish energy. If the host is willing to spend points, the pet can also grow faster. You better be quiet. Haven't you caused enough trouble? Yang Fan chuckled, ignoring the latter part of the system statement, but with a thought he placed Xiao Yan into the pet. Then Yang Fan began to review the martial arts of the Fa Lu lineage. Without delay, he directly started his cultivation. It had been 3 days since he arrived at the Haiyan Mountains, and he had destroyed 7 bandit camps. According to Yang Fan's understanding, there were more than a dozen bandit camps in the Haiyan Mountains, with the Haifeng camp being the strongest. The bandits numbered in the thousands. The other somewhat weaker camps also had significant numbers. Over the past few days, Yang Fan had eliminated those 7 camps using his hydrogen. Now what Yang Fan found troublesome were the 3 camps led by Haifeng camp, along with the Tianlang camp and the Zhu camp. With Yang Fan's current strength, he was not a match for them. He could only rely on hydrogen bombs. Currently, the only hydrogen bomb he could use was one, and he had to wait for it to refresh. Therefore, it was crucial to seize the time to cultivate martial arts and enhance his own strength. At midnight, a shadow flashed through the forest. In just a few leaps, it covered dozens of meters. Yang Fan lightly tapped the tree trunk with his toes, and his entire body, like a flying swallow, landed gracefully on the trunk of a large tree. Phew. The free and easy wandering indeed lives up to its reputation as a superior martial art. After just a few hours of cultivation, my agility has significantly improved, and my speed has increased by at least 1/3. This is not to say that Yang Fan is exceptionally talented comprehending the free and easy wandering so quickly, rather he has activated a power-up. He exchanged for another session of triple acceleration to fully cultivate the free and easy wandering. Under the triple acceleration of cultivation, he barely grasped the fundamentals of the free and easy wandering. Light as a swallow, graceful as a startled swan, soaring through the air, free and unrestrained. I have just entered the first level of the free and easy wandering, light as a swallow, and I can already feel such a significant boost. This martial art is worth the effort. With a satisfied smile, Yang Fan took a moment to rest. Checking the time, a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. The hydrogen bombs have been refreshed. Now I can use 4 mini hydrogen bombs. It's time to create a commotion. After some consideration, Yang Fan set his target. Let's go for the Sky Wolf Stronghold. This stronghold ranks among the top 5 in the Black Flame Mountain range, housing nearly 3,000 people. 4 mini hydrogen bombs should be enough to annihilate them. The Sky Wolf Stronghold is located on the outskirts of the Black Flame Mountain range, occupying a stretch of grassland. The entire stronghold, covering over 1,000 square meters, is surrounded by The Sky Wolf Stronghold is also a formidable entity. It has invested significant effort to establish a stronghold on that grassland. Its scale is comparable to that of a small city. Among the many strongholds in the Black Flame Mountain range, it ranks just behind the Black Wind Stronghold in terms of size. It has terrorized the surrounding areas for years, periodically raiding the villages outside the mountains. Xuantian City has sent troops to suppress them multiple times, but because the Sky Wolf Stronghold is backed by the depths of the Black Flame Mountain range where demonic beasts roam freely, attempts to attack have failed. To the left there is a marsh occupied by a group of third-tier demonic beasts, the poison pattern crocodiles. To the right, several hundred meters away, is a cliff. After several failed attempts to attack, Xuantian City gradually only deployed some soldiers to maintain a balance. The Black Wind Stronghold is nestled deep in the territory, surrounded by dense forests filled with mid-tier first-grade demonic beasts, and even some late-tier first-grade demonic beasts, providing a natural barrier that makes it impossible to attack for now. Therefore, we will settle for second best and eliminate the Sky Wolf Stronghold first. A cold light flickered in Yang Fan's eyes as he contemplated his strategy. The Sky Wolf Stronghold has nearly 3,000 personnel, most of whom are at the 5th or 6th level of body. There are 4 leaders at the 9th level of body tempering. Above them is the Deputy Stronghold Leader, who has a 1st-level blood transformation cultivation. The Stronghold Leader of the Sky Wolf has a 3rd-level blood transformation cultivation, making him one of the strongest among all strongholds in the Black Flame Mountain range. Currently, Yang Fan can use 4 mini hydrogen bombs. Ordinary bandits, even those leaders and the Deputy Stronghold Leader, would certainly perish under the bombardment of 4 mini hydrogen. The only variable is the Stronghold Leader of the Sky Wolf. The mini hydrogen bombs have limited power. Those with sufficient strength can survive the bombardment. Moreover, Yang Fan's own cultivation is still too low. If he encounters stronger bandits after using the hydrogen bombs, he would indeed be in great danger. Now he can only take advantage of the fact that those strongholds are still unaware of who is behind the attacks, and strike them with something even harsher. However, the current issue is how Yang Fan can approach the Sky Wolf Stronghold. Given that he has aggressively eliminated 7 strongholds over the past few days, such commotion has already attracted attention from other strongholds. They have begun sending people to search the mountains. Just today, Yang Fan has already spotted at least 5 waves of people. In this situation, the Sky Wolf Stronghold is definitely on high. It's difficult to approach even within 100 meters, let alone a radius of a mile. Even if Yang Fan had a golden slingshot, it would be futile. The range is insufficient to inflict significant damage on the Sky Wolf Stronghold. Ding. Host, please note that your pet wants to come out and is making a fuss. Just as Yang Fan was contemplating his strategy, the system's voice echoed in his mind. Yang Fan was taken aback then. With a thought, he released Xuantian. Chirp, chirp. As soon as Xuantian appeared, it excitedly chirped. The fluffy yellow creature landed on Yang Fan's shoulder, affectionately rubbing its little head against his neck. Then with a chirp it flew away. Watching Xuantian transform into a yellow streak, flying joyfully, Yang Fan pondered. Haha, this is it. Suddenly he slapped his thigh as a plan formed in his mind. He waved his hand and called out, Xuantian, come here. Chirp, chirp. Hearing Yang Fan's voice, Xuantian chirped and made a quick turn in the air as if the yellow light had folded, transforming into a yellow streak, flying towards Yang Fan. With a soft thud, Xuantian accurately and steadily landed on Yang Fan's shoulder. Rubbing against him, Xuantian looked at Yang Fan with a pair of curious eyes. Yang Fan smiled and lifted Xuantian from his shoulder, holding it in his hands. Xuantian, you should be able to understand what I'm saying, right? Chirp chirp. Xuantian tilted its head, blinked twice, and nodded. As a fourth-tier demonic beast, although Xuantian is still in the early first-tier stage, it has a noble lineage and possesses extraordinary potential. Its intelligence is certainly not low. As Yangfan's pet, Xuantian understands some of the meanings behind Yangfan's words. That's good. Xuantian, there's something I need you to help with. Chirp A. Xuantian looked at Yangfan in confusion, chirping twice as if to ask what it was about. Yangfan chuckled and proceeded to explain his plan to Xuantian. After a while, once he finished, Yangfan summoned the 4 mini hydrogen bombs. Wrapping them in a cloth bag, he said to Xuantian, Xuantian, as long as you handle this well, it'll let you eat your fill of spirit insects, spirit flowers, and spirit liquids. Chirp chirp. Hearing about spirit insects and such, Xuantian's eyes narrowed in excitement. Seeing this, Yangfan handed over the package. Xuantian looked at it, and then grabbed the bag's opening with its little claws. The 4 mini hydrogen bombs weighed less than half a pound, and Xuantian easily lifted them. With its little wings flapping, it took off into the air. Xuantian, go. Remember to drop this in the area with the most people. Be sure to throw it from at least 300 meters in the air. Don't hurt yourself. Chirp. Xuantian responded to the instructions. In the next moment, it flapped its wings, transforming into a yellow streak, flying into the jungle. That direction is where the Sky Wolf stronghold is located. With Xuantian in action, one can accomplish the work of two. Now I just need to find a concealed place and wait for the points to roll in. Yangfan watched as Xuantian disappeared from view, satisfied with a smile, before turning to leave. He wasn't worried at all about Xuantian being unable to find him. As Xuantian's master, and having been hatched by the system, Yangfan and Xuantian share an innate connection. As long as they are not too far apart, they can sense each other. Recently, 7 mountain strongholds in the Black Flame Mountains have been reduced to rubble. Nearly no survivors remain. Such power is truly terrifying. Have any of you uncovered details? What on earth is happening? In the main hall of the Sky Wolf Bandit camp, a broad-shouldered, heavily muscled man with an aura of grim ferocity sat upon the head seat, scanning the assembly below with a low, commanding voice. This man was Lu Tianlong, chieftain of the Sky Wolf Bandit camp. And before him stood dozens, his lieutenants, captains, and other key figures of the camp. Chief, the assailant struck with overwhelming force and vanished without trace. In mere days, 7 strongholds fell. It appears someone has set their sights on us. No large-scale troop movements were detected. This must be the work of a solitary master cultivator. Even Qingfeng camp, nearly our equal in strength, was raised overnight. Could it be a spirit refinement realm expert? Impossible. Lu Tianlang frowned deeply, his voice taut with conviction. Were it truly a spirit refinement realm master, there would be no need for such stealth. He would simply appear at our gate, and we would stand powerless. Then, could it be forces from Xuantian City? The nearest power both capable of this and long embroiled in bitter enmity with us is none other than Xuantian City. At these words, all present nodded in silent agreement. A sharp glint flashed in Lu Tianlong's eyes as he let out a cold snort. It must be them. Just days ago, when Yanshou City launched an assault on Xuantian City, we seized the chaos to strike several major raids from behind. Yet Yanshou City was repelled, and Xuantian City will surely not swallow this humiliation. Chief, then what shall we? In boom. In mid-discussion, a deafening explosion shattered the air, followed by a cataclysmic tremor that shook the heavens and split the earth. Off. And screams erupted, shrill, desperate, overlapping. And what's happening? What a... And the assembly in the hall reeled in shock. Lu Tianlang had barely steadied himself when reality crashed upon him. Above him, the hall's vaulted ceiling exploded inward, shattered in an instant. And another detonation roared forth. A wave of searing apocalyptic heat surged forward. Caught between twin blasts, half the hall's occupants perished instantly, reduced to ash and vapor. And boom, boom, boom. Within moments, the entire Sky Wolf Bandit camp suffered divine retribution, for miniature thermonuclear devices reduced it to utter devastation. Xuantian hovered precisely above the camp's central heart, 4 thermonuclear charges clutched beneath his talons. Following Yangfan's command, he released all 4 charges, then fled without pause. In mere heartbeats, the miniature warheads unleashed staggering, world-shaking force. Nearly 3,000 bandits of the Sky Wolf camp were annihilated in the 4 blasts. Inside a secluded mountain cave, Yangfan sat in silent cultivation, when suddenly a system alert chimed a massive influx of points. A grin spread across his lips as he opened the system interface. In cultivator Yangfan status, sole heir of Xuantian City's Lord in cultivation, realm body tempering state, cultivation arts, blazing sun art, high-tier yellow rank, preliminary chapter of the heaven-devouring scripture, incomplete, low-tier mysterious rank. Martial techniques, iron yuan palm, low-tier yellow rank, unmastered, wind-chasing leg art, mid-tier yellow rank, unmastered, friend easy wanderer, low-tier mysterious rank, mastered, endpoints 6756. Exchange shop activated items 100 trillion miniature thermonuclear devices current usable quantity 0 in pet juvenile. Yen K stage 1 early, OW upgradable, evolvable. Pet abilities high speed, aerial maneuvering, mid-air striking capability. In Master Yang Fan. In. Haha. This single operation netted over 2,000 points. Clearly the Sky Wolf Bandit camp has been all but eradicated. Yang Fan was thoroughly pleased, his heart thumping with exhilaration. He mentally showered Xiao Yin with praise, only to furrow his brow a moment later murmuring, I wonder, did Lu Tianlang perish? Chirp chirp, na familiar cry echoed. In the next instant a streak of amber shot through the cave entrance, and landed with a soft thump upon Yang Fan's shoulder, where Xiao Yin trilled joyfully, clearly seeking commendation, his tiny expression all but demanding, praise me, and well done. Wait, soon I'll get you something special. As Yang Fan stroked Xiao Yan's head, he summoned the system interface within his mind. In system, does the exchange shop offer food suitable for Xiao Yin? Ding, of course it does. And instantly a luminous interface shimmered into view before him. Xin, in spirit insect, 3rd stage spirit beast, 1/0. Jiao Ling Yang pupa, 3rd stage spirit creature, 1/0 points per unit. In Yang Fan's face darkened. System, you're asking for a beating, aren't you? Do I look like I can afford these? Can you be remotely reasonable? The system paused, then another interface materialized. In Flamefire insect midstage 1st tier spirit beast, 100 points per unit. In Spirit Source cricket midstage 1st tier spirit beast, 100 points per unit. Swiftgrass beetle early stage 1st tier spirit beast, 80 points per unit. In Leap Spider early stage 1st tier spirit beast, 50 points per unit. In Flying Spirit Silkworm pupa early stage 1st tier spirit beast, 30 points per unit. In Cultivator, these are the lowest tier spirit beasts available in the shop. Common insects and mundane animals are not even listed. Yang Fan stroked his chin studying the list. In Xiao Yin possessed latent potential to reach 4th stage. Given proper nurturing, he would undoubtedly ascend to that rank. Ordinary insects, even consumed in great quantity, offered Xiao Yin far less nourishment than a single ranked spirit beast. Moreover, Xiao Yan's profile explicitly stated that given sufficient opportunity, he could evolve further into a 5th stage spirit beast. Thus his foundation must be laid impeccably, and otherwise, even if destiny knocks, he would lack the capacity to answer. I'll never shortchange Xiao Yin, not while he remains my most treasured companion. Resolute Yang Fan clenched his fist and declared, System, exchange 20 Flamefire insects. Confirmed. Exchange complete. Items stored in system storage. Remaining points, 4756. Reminder, 20 Flamefire insects suffice for 5-day sustenance for the juvenile Yen K. Additionally, multiple medicinal herbs, spirit fruits, and spirit meats are also available. And I don't need them. Before the system could continue its spiel, Yang Fan cut it off. And that wily system, always scheming to drain his points. And he rolled his eyes and dismissed it entirely, then retrieved 3 Flamefire insects from system storage. Zitsidi. In 3 thumbs-sized vividly crimson insects appeared, roundhead radiating faint wisps of flame. Their bodies hummed with palpable spiritual energy, yet immediately they shrieked and scattered in all directions. Chirp. And before Yang Fan could react, a golden yellow blur streaked across the air. Xiao Yin, moving with blinding speed, snatched one insect mid-flight. His violet-tinged pupils gleamed with ravenous delight. Then came the crisp wet crunch as he devoured the insect whole. In mere breaths it devoured an entire Flamefire insect. The moment it finished, Xiao Yin darted forth once more and seized the remaining 2. The 2 unfortunate Flamefire insects had barely flown a short distance before they became Xiao Yan's prey. Though still only at the early stage of first rank, Xiao Yan's bloodline and innate prowess far surpassed those of mid-stage Flamefire insects. This was unsurprising. Flamefire insects as spirit insects and demonic beasts possessed an innate ceiling of merely latest-stage first rank, possessing negligible combat ability. Before Xiao Yin, a beast bearing the latent potential of a 4th-rank demonic beast, they could only meet their fate as sustenance. Before long, Xiao Yin had consumed all 3 Flamefire insects. Fluttering its tiny wings, it alighted upon Yang Fan's shoulder and let out a contented belch. A faint twitch curled at Yang Fan's lips as he gazed fondly at Xiao Yin. At that moment, his keen perception detected subtle fluctuations in Xiao Yan's aura, evidence of change triggered by the feast. Its energy began to rise steadily. Sated, the little creature grew drowsy, its tiny head bobbing gently on Yang Fan's shoulder, drifting toward slumber. You little glutton, full belly, heavy eyelids. Whose trait have you inherited? With a wry smile, Yang Fan retracted Xiao Yin into his pet space and shook his head in amused exasperation. He trusted that once Xiao Yin fully digested the 3 Flamefire insects, its strength would advance further still. The hydrogen bomb is depleted. Venturing outside now holds no purpose. Waiting for its reset will take another full day. In the meantime, perhaps I should test that auto-cultivation chamber. The triple-speed cultivation buff remained active. Given Yang Fan's current aptitude and cultivation art breakthrough was not imminent, so he summoned the system and activated the auto-cultivation chamber. Auto-cultivation chamber, 999 chambers in total. Cultivating 1 day in chamber 1 equaled 3 days of external cultivation, costing 500. Chamber 2 accelerated times 6-fold. 1 day here equaled 6 days outside, at 1,000 points per day. Higher tier chambers yielded swifter cultivation gains, but demanded exponentially greater points. Each chamber teemed with experience yielding demonic beasts. Hidden among them were rare variants capable of dropping skills, cultivation arts, or treasures. The more slain, the richer the rewards. Upon inspection, Yang Fan observed that Chamber 1 housed predominantly early-stage first-rank demonic beasts, with only a scattering of mid-stage specimens. Early-stage first-rank beasts matched martial artists at the 3rd level of body tempering. Mid-stage ones rivaled those at approximately the 6th level. Later-stage first-rank beasts, equivalent to 9th level body tempering cultivators, or even peak-level practitioners in exceptional cases, were absent entirely from Chamber. Against such foes, Yang Fan stood no chance. Yet Chamber 1 teamed with nearly 10,000 early-stage first-rank beasts, though naturally they were not clustered together. According to the detailed description, each chamber spanned a vast expanse, nearly 1/4 the size of the Black Flame Mountains, with its 10,000 early-stage beasts scattered across the terrain. 500 points. Given my current balance, this is well within my means. Why not give it a try? After brief contemplation, Yang Fan rose and declared, "System, I wish to enter chamber 1 of the auto-cultivation chamber." Ding. Points deducted. Remaining points 4256. Prepare host. Entry into the auto-cultivation chamber commences in 3 seconds. Yang Fan swallowed hard, his heart thrumming with nervous anticipation and quiet exhilaration. At the countdown's end, he vanished. In the next instant, he found himself standing within an immense, boundless space. Hundreds of meters above hung a seamless white barrier. All around stretched dense forest, punctuated by distant guttural roars of demonic beasts. Spiritual energy saturated the air, twice as dense as the outside world. Remarkable. Calling this a chamber is an understatement. It's practically a sovereign domain. Yang Fan scanned his surroundings, eyes alight with excitement, until he noticed a boar-like beast half a man's height, jet black in hide, its crimson eyes locking onto him with bared fangs and snarling maw. Early-stage first-rank beast, black-hide wild boar. Recognizing it instantly, Yang Fan grinned, surged spiritual energy through his meridians, and charged without hesitation. 1 day outside equaled 3 days here. A privilege purchased at 500 points. Not a moment could be wasted. Oink oink. The black-eyed wild boar bellowed, hooves churning earth as it lowered its head and charged. Undaunted, Yang Fan clenched his fist and struck forward, hard. Thud. The boar hurtled backward, crashing violently onto the ground. Die. Relentless strikes erupted, spiritual energy flaring, the beast shrieking in agony under the onslaught. At last, Yang Fan crushed the black-eyed wild boar to death. As its body still, the book materialized atop the earth. What the actual loot drops? Stunned, Yang Fan stared, when the system's voice chimed within his mind. Ding. Black-hide wild boar slain. Reward 1 point. Experience gained 3. Acquired a low-tier cultivation art, Steel Fist. The system's notification echoed again. Yang Fan blinked, then focused his intent, summoning a translucent interface before his eyes. Auto-cultivation chamber 1. Beast slain 1. Current cultivation peak of body tempering level 4. Experience 3100. Full accumulation triggers advancement to body tempering level 5. Yang Fan's expression turned faintly bemused. This feels uncannily like gaming. The structured data, stats, progression, rewards, felt deeply familiar within the chamber's artificial realm. Shaking his head, he strode forward and picked up the fallen tome. Ding. Would host like to reclaim this item? Without hesitation, Yang Fan affirmed. Ding. Reclaimed low-tier cultivation art. Awarded 2 points. Huh. This auto-cultivation chamber truly is a treasure trove. Not only does it accelerate cultivation, but it yields loot convertible into points. System, you've surprised me for once. Yang Fan laughed aloud, eyes blazing with fervor. Without delay, he plunged into the forest, embarking on his relentless quest, grinding experience, hunting loot, ascending ever higher. While Yang Fan reveled in the auto-cultivation chamber far beyond its boundaries, 100 kilometers from the Black Flame Mountains, a legion marched, thousands of armored soldiers, spears gleaming, radiating palpable battlefield ferocity, toward the mountain range. This was Yang Langtian, the lord of Xuantian City and Yang Fan's father. It's been nearly 4 days since Fanner departed. I wonder how he fares. This was Yang Langtian, the lord of Xuantian City and Yang Fan's father. It's been nearly 4 days since Fanner departed. I wonder how he fares. His murmured words carried a trace of quiet anxiety. Though he knew his son bore treasures bestowed by his enigmatic master, Yang Fan's own cultivation remained only at body tempering level 4. For days had passed, yet no news had arrived. Deeply unsettled, Yang Langtian, having secured Xuantian City's affairs, personally led his troops into the Black Report. Just as Yang Langtian was lost in thought, the scout, sent to investigate the situation, returned. With a wave of his hand, the troops behind him immediately halted, standing in perfect formation. "What is the situation?" The scout's face showed shock as he respectfully replied, "Reporting to the city, Lord, there are no bandits in the villages ahead. After entering the Black Flame Mountain range, we captured several terrified bandits fleeing in panic. Under interrogation, we learned that in the past few days at least 8 bandit strongholds in the Black Flame Mountain range have been reduced to ruins, with nearly 10,000 bandits exterminated." What a... Upon hearing this, Yang Langtian, along with several of his deputies and soldiers behind him, wore expressions of astonishment. Yang Langtian's expression shifted, but he quickly asked, "Is the information accurate?" "Absolutely correct. I even infiltrated the Black Flame Mountain range to check those strongholds. The ground was littered with corpses, and the entire stronghold was reduced to a wasteland. Among them were the Qingfeng stronghold and the Tianlang stronghold, both large strongholds. The surviving bandits are probably less than 1/10. The entire army of Xuantian City fell into a hush, all stunned by this news. The strongholds in the Black Flame Mountain range had always been a thorn in the side of Xuantian City. Due to the geographical advantages of those strongholds in the Black Flame Mountain range, they were naturally protected, making them easy to defend, but hard to attack. Xuantian City had sent troops to encircle them multiple times, but with little effect. This had caused many nearby villages to complain. Yet there was no perfect solution to eliminate those bandits, and if this continued, the city lord would likely face accusations from some ill-intentioned individuals. But now, in just a few days, more than half of the bandit strongholds in the Black Flame Mountain range had been wiped out. Although the largest of them, the Haifeng stronghold, still existed, the situation had decisively changed compared to before. Could it be that my son did this? At this moment, Yang Langtian thought of Yang Fan, who had already set out for 4 days, and those 8 strongholds happened to have been destroyed in these days. It was highly likely, although hard to believe it was the only explanation. Yang Langtian was deeply amazed. Yang Fan's master was indeed an awe-inspiring figure, capable of helping Yang Fan, a warrior at the 4th stage of body refinement, to destroy 8 strongholds in just 4 days. The entire army, listen up. Advance at full speed towards the Black Flame Mountain range. Scouts, send more people to search for the whereabouts of the young master. While shocked and delighted, Yang Langtian also realized that with 8 strongholds destroyed, the remaining ones would undoubtedly not sit idly by. Although Yang Fan had treasures given by his master, unexpected events were still likely to occur. Immediately, the troops of Xuantian City didn't delay any longer and sped towards the Black Flame Mountain range. At this moment, in the main hall of the Black Flame Mountain range, besides the people of the Haifeng stronghold, several other stronghold leaders and heads had gathered. The remnants of the strongholds still remaining in the Black Flame Mountain range had all congregated here. Old Mo, this cannot go on. 8 strongholds have been destroyed within 4 days. If this continues, we will be in grave danger. A middle-aged man dressed in a tiger skin coat, fierce in appearance, stepped forward, holding a meteor hammer, and spoke solemnly to the man sitting at the head of the hall. This man was the leader of the Tailong stronghold, Zhuang Cheng, with a cultivation of the 2nd stage of blood refinement. He commanded over 1,000 underlings, ranking as a mid-tier stronghold in the Black Flame Mountain range. I believe this is definitely the work of Xuantian City. In this area of thousands of miles, only Xuantian City possesses such strength. Moreover, according to intelligence from my subordinates, a batch of Xuantian City troops is heading towards the Black Flame Mountain range. Indeed, Xuantian City is truly overstepping its bounds. We cannot just sit back and wait for death. We must counterattack. The other stronghold leaders voiced their outrage, all filled with indignation. The man in a black robe with a solemn face and eyes filled with a glimmer of murderous intent stood up at the head and surveyed the crowd. He then slowly spoke. According to Lu Tianlong, their stronghold was destroyed in less than a cup of tea's time. The entire stronghold was razed to the ground before they even had time to react. If it weren't for his formidable strength, he would have perished as well. The leader of the Haifeng stronghold, Mo Long, showed a flicker of concern in his eyes as he said solemnly, "Though he escaped with his life, he is severely injured. Do you think we can resist such power?" Originally, the 4 mini hydrogen bombs had indeed destroyed the Tianlang stronghold, but not all its people had been killed. A dozen bandits had survived by chance, and their leader Lu Tianlong, relying on his 2nd stage of blood refinement cultivation and not being at the epicenter of the explosion, had also managed to survive. However, the power of the mini hydrogen bomb was no joke. Even Lu Tianlang had nearly been killed. When Lu Tianlang regained consciousness from his stupor, he was first filled with rage and then overwhelmed by fear. Dragging his injured body, he made his way to the Haifeng stronghold seeking refuge and informed Mo Long of what had happened at that time. Upon hearing Mo Long's words, everyone in the hall fell into silence. At that moment, Mo Long let out a cold grunt, and a fierce aura emanated from him as he declared loudly, "However, just as everyone has said, if we ignore this, we will meet the same fate as them. We must counterattack. Indeed, we must counterattack. Do they think we are pushovers? Old Mo, give the orders. Oh, what should we do?" Among those present, Mo Long had the highest cultivation level, and his stronghold was the largest and most powerful in the Black Flame Mountain range, so they were all looking to him for direction. However, secretly some people had their own thoughts. Seeing this, Mo Long took a deep breath and said coldly, "The Qinshan City troops are heading towards the Black Flame Mountain range. We will ambush them halfway. The combined forces of all our strongholds will not be less than theirs." "I agree. I've long been displeased with the people of Qinshan City. This time let's annihilate them, and we will take over Qinshan City. From now on, who would dare oppose us?" Hearing this, several stronghold leaders present had flickering expressions in their eyes. Mo Long smiled broadly and said, "Then let's not delay. Let's gather our forces." A storm of great battle was brewing. Meanwhile, Yang Fan was in the training room battling monsters. Bang! With a resounding crash, a leopard as tall as 2 people was blasted to the ground. In the next moment, 3 dark stones fell to the ground. The swift leopard is indeed a mid-tier first-stage monster. Its speed and strength. If I hadn't already broken through to the 6th stage of body refinement, I might not have been able to take it down. Wiping the sweat from his brow, Yang Fan stepped forward to pick up the several dark stones. Ding! The host has obtained 3 black spirit stones. Would you like to recycle them? Nonsense, these things are used for refining weapons, and I have no need for them. Hurry up and the items have been recycled. The host has gained 5 points of credit. As the system's voice faded, Yang Fan opened his information. Idle training room, first room. Kill count 957. Current cultivation level of the host's 6th layer of body refinement. Experience points 395000. Once the experience points are maxed, the host can break through to the 7th layer of body refinement. In just 3 days, Yang Fan had killed nearly 1,000 demon beasts. Of course, with Yang Fan's strength, facing early-stage first-tier demon beasts was almost a crushing victory. There were only a few instances where he encountered groups of early-stage first-tier demon beasts. Yang Fan wasn't foolish and did not confront them heated. However, he also encountered mid-stage first-tier demon beasts several times. If it weren't for the fact that Yang Fan had just broken through to the 5th layer of body refinement, he would have been in real danger. During these 3 days, thanks to killing demon beasts, Yang Fan's cultivation had rapidly improved. Now he had already reached the 6th layer of body refinement. At the same time, due to the demon beasts he killed, many items had dropped. There were cultivation techniques, martial arts, spirit stones, medicinal herbs, and so on, countless in number. However, most of them were useless to Yang Fan, and he recycled them all, accumulating more and more points. Nevertheless, Yang Fan kept a few items for himself. Ding! Reminder to the host: the idle training room is about to expire. Would you like to extend your time? At this moment, a prompt from the system startled Yang Fan. Has 3 days passed so quickly? He sighed inwardly. Time truly flew by while cultivating and battling. Shaking his head, Yang Fan said in his mind, "No need to extend, just send me out." Although he spent 500 points, the returns were far greater, and he was indeed reluctant to leave. However, now that a day had passed, it was time to see what was happening in the outside world. Ding! The host will exit the idle training room in 3 seconds. In the cave, Yang Fan stepped out of the idle training room and took a deep breath. Phew! After killing for 3 days, it was exhilarating, but also truly exhausting. Yang Fan sat cross-legged on the ground, circulating the swallowing heaven technique, absorbing the spiritual energy from heaven and earth to recover his state. Yet inside, he was incredibly excited. The 3 days of monster grinding in the idle training room had yielded substantial rewards. Most notably, Yang Fan's cultivation had broken through to the 6th layer of body refinement. Host: Yang Fan. Identity: the only son of the city, Lord of Qinshan City. Cultivation: 6th layer of body refinement. Techniques: Sunfire technique, upper yellow rank; Swallowing heaven technique, fragmentary, lower Xian rank. Martial arts: Iron Origin Palm, lower yellow rank; Martial art entry, Wind Chase leg technique, mid yellow rank; Martial art entry, Carefree movement, lower Xian rank entry. Points: 11497. Exchange mall opened. Items: 100 trillion mini hydrogen bombs, currently usable quantity 5. Pet Yen K Cub midstage first tier, can be upgraded, can evolve. Pet abilities: high speed movement, aerial strike. Owner: Yang Fan. Yang Fan's personal information had undergone quite a few changes. Firstly, regarding martial arts. Over these 3 days, both Iron Origin Palm and Wind Chase leg technique were officially mastered in the process of slaying demon beasts. Carefree movement had also seen significant progress. Then there were the points, which directly surged to over 10,000. This was all due to killing demon beasts and recycling various items. Another change was in the quantity of mini hydrogen bombs. With Yang Fan's breakthrough in cultivation, the number he could use daily had now increased to 5. This was a huge surprise for Yang Fan. With more hydrogen bombs, his chances of destroying all the bandit hideouts in the Black Flame Mountain range had greatly increased. Even that Black Wind hideout with a few days of accumulation could definitely be easily wiped out. Lastly, there was Xuantian. During that day, Xuantian had fully absorbed the energy from the 3 fireworms in the pet space, unexpectedly advancing to mid-stage first tier. Mid-stage first tier is equivalent to the cultivation level of a martial artist at the 6th layer of body refinement. With Xuantian's bloodline and strength, even some latest-stage first-tier demon beasts were no match for it. I wonder what's happening outside now. After a moment's thought, Yang Fan released Xuantian. GG. Once Xuantian came out, it excitedly flitted around the cave. Its speed was at least doubled compared to before. With Yang Fan's current eyesight, he could only see a yellow streak darting through the air. Clap. After flying for a while, Xuantian landed on Yang Fan's shoulder, affectionately rubbing against his neck. It seems to have grown a bit. Looking at Xuantian with a smile, Yang Fan thought for a moment, then took out the 3 fireworms from the system space. Upon seeing the fireworms, Xuantian instantly became excited. After Xuantian finished eating, Yang Fan stood up and stepped outside. Xuantian, you've eaten, now go and scout the situation in the sky. Hearing Yang Fan's command, Xuantian chirped once, and then flew up into the sky. As he watched Xuantian drift farther away, Yang Fan smiled, then suddenly seemed to recall something, and a hint of excitement appeared on his face. Right, those bandit hideouts I destroyed before, though they have practically turned to ruins, surely there will be some things left behind. I should go and recycle them, and I might get some credits. With that thought, Yang Fan moved his figure and dashed into the forest. The Xian Eagle hideout was one of the 8 hideouts that Yang Fan had destroyed. Its overall strength was relatively average, with the number of bandits barely surpassing 1,000. Previously, Yang Fan had used a mini hydrogen bomb to level this hideout. Half an hour later, Yang Fan arrived at what had become a wasteland, the Xian Eagle hideout. Tisk, this is really quite tragic. Looking at the scene before him with corpses scattered everywhere, rubble everywhere, and the air filled with the smell of blood, Yang Fan frowned. It wasn't because he felt guilty for killing. These people harmed the common folk, burned, killed, and looted, committing heinous acts that made them unworthy of pity. Yang Fan was mainly worried about how much could possibly be recycled after such devastation. After searching for half an hour, the items he collected only yielded over 200 points after system recycling. Yang Fan shook his head and left, directly heading towards the next destroyed bandit hideout. Chirp chirp. As Yang Fan searched for the 5th destroyed bandit stronghold, Xuantian, who had gone to investigate, appeared from the horizon and soon landed on Yang Fan's shoulder. Seated on a large stone, Yang Fan held Xuantian in his hands, taking out 3 fireworms. While feeding Xuantian, he smiled and asked, Xuantian, have you discovered anything? After swallowing 1 fireworm, Xuantian chirped at Yang Fan, occasionally fluttering its small wings to gesture. Through the connection established after recognizing its master, Yang Fan vaguely understood what Xuantian was trying to convey. Are you saying that the people from the other strongholds are not in the strong? They have gathered and headed in that direction. After pondering for a moment, Yang Fan grasped what Xuantian was expressing, a hint of surprise appearing on his face. Then a wave of confusion washed over him. Because I have destroyed so many strongholds in the past few days, they definitely won't sit idle gathering together to discuss countermeasures. I can understand that. But why are they gathering so many people and heading towards? From the direction Xuantian pointed out, Yang Fan immediately recognized it as the location of Xuantian City. Furrowing his brows, Yang Fan found it hard to comprehend. Chirp chirp. At that moment, Xuantian continued to call, saying something while gesturing. Yang Fan stared intently, and upon finally understanding, suddenly stood up, astonished. Another group is headed toward the Haiyan Mountain range. Could it be that it's the troops sent by my father? This should be it. Those from the stronghold must think that Xuantian City has taken action, planning to eliminate them. Their gathering now means they know Xuantian City's forces are coming this way and are planning a counterattack. Pacing in place, Yang Fan's mind raced with thoughts. Suddenly a spark lit up in Yang Fan's eyes. Heaven helps me. They are gathering their forces to prepare for a counterattack against my father's troops, which means their base is basically empty. Haha, it's settled, then let's strike at their roots. With the decision made, Yang Fan no longer hesitated, leaving the ruins directly and flying towards a bandit stronghold. Above him, Xuantian followed closely. Hafeng Stronghold, the strongest stronghold in the Haiyan Mountain range, was situated in an excellent location. Surrounded by dense forest teeming with many demonic beasts, Yang Fan encountered over a dozen mid-tier, first-level demonic beasts on his way. If it weren't for Yang Fan having broken through to the 6th level of body refinement along with improvements in his free-spirited movement technique, he wouldn't dare to charge him just a few hundred meters to Hafeng Stronghold. Indeed, their rear is already empty. Throughout this way, apart from demonic beasts, I haven't seen a single person. After killing a mid-tier first-level Iron Mountain ape, Yang Fan calmed his raging blood and stayed alert to his surroundings. Without lingering, he began to slow down and approached Haifeng's stronghold. Fortunately, I have Xuantian with me. While dashing, Yangfan directed Xuantian in the sky. Thanks to Xuantian scouting the area from the sky, if a latest-stage first-level demonic beast were to appear, it would warn him in advance, so he could avoid it. With Yangfan's vigilance and Xuantian's aerial assistance, a magnificent outline of a stronghold soon appeared before Yangfan. Stopping his steps, Yangfan leapt onto a large tree and gazed ahead. He saw a wall composed of tree trunks 7 to 8 meters high and as thick as an adult's waist standing. It stretched on, seemingly enclosing the entire Haifeng stronghold. Moreover, sharp spikes, nearly a meter long, stood between the thick tree trunks. Looking at the rows of spikes, it was filled with a sense of oppression. Even a latest-stage first-level demonic beast would find it challenging to break through. One could see how much effort was put into building Haifeng's stronghold, establishing such a defensible position in the Haiyan mountain range, where demonic beasts roamed freely. On the 2 giant wooden doors, 2 watchtowers had been constructed on either side, and at that moment, there was a bandit on alert in each tower. How do I get over this 7 to 8 meter high wall? Yangfan was troubled. With his current cultivation combined with his free-spirited movement technique, he couldn't quietly scale this wall. After thinking for a moment, Yangfan waved his hand to summon Xuantian down. Xuantian flew down and landed in Yangfan's open palm, chirping twice. After tossing a fireworm to Xuantian, Yangfan said, "Xuantian, go investigate how many people are in the stronghold." Xuantian nodded and then flew out. Shortly after, Xuantian returned with information. Only a dozen people. Yangfan stroked his chin and said, "Not many, but I don't know their strength. No matter, with my current strength, even an average 7th level body refinement warrior wouldn't be my opponent. Plus, with Xuantian, we are more than capable of matching a latest-stage first-level demonic beast equivalent to a 9th level body refinement warrior. That should be sufficient." Nodding, a glimmer of excitement appeared in Yangfan's eyes. He then flipped his hand, revealing a mini hydrogen bomb. Following that, he took out his golden slingshot. Loaded and fired. Whoosh. The mini hydrogen bomb swiftly landed within dozens of meters inside Haifeng's stronghold's gate. Boom. The 2 wooden doors were instantly blown to smithereens. The high-temperature energy spread out, and before the 2 bandits on the watchtower could react, they were obliterated. Along with them, the 10 or so bandits left behind were also killed. Once the explosion subsided, Yangfan dashed in quickly, entering Haifeng's stronghold. Xuantian spared no mercy for any living ones, kill them all. Calling out, Yangfan rushed through the expansive Haifeng stronghold. Chirp, chirp. Xuantian was extremely excited, swiftly darting through Haifeng's stronghold, encountering 2 bandits at the 8th level of body refinement. But under Xuantian's aerial strike, they didn't even have time to react before being pierced through the chest. In less than a stick of incense, there were no living bandits left in the entire Haifeng. Yangfan did not waste time and began to loot. After a thorough search, he reaped a bountiful harvest. Haifeng's stronghold truly lived up to its reputation as the largest stronghold in the Haiyan mountain range, rich in resources. Rare herbs, spirit-rich, or a large number of weapons. Leaving behind some items that Yangfan could use, he collected everything else. Now Yangfan's points had reached over 16,000. Just looting this Haifeng stronghold had brought him over 5,000 points. Haha, these points come so quickly. After finishing the looting, Yangfan did not linger, his face filled with excitement as he hurriedly flew towards the next stronghold. But before leaving, Yangfan once again dropped a hydrogen bomb in the center of Haifeng stronghold. With a loud explosion, Haifeng stronghold became a pile of ruins. As Yangfan was about to leave for the next mountain stronghold to continue plundering, a notification from the system suddenly appeared. Ever since obtaining this system, Yangfan felt that it was not a good thing. It often deducted his points, and he couldn't tell whether this unexpected benefit was good or bad. "Please don't spend my points." "I won't." "Are you really not going to?" Yangfan was wary of being deceived, although he currently had 15638 points, which sounded like a lot. However, this amount of points was far from enough to exchange for good items, so he naturally couldn't squander them recklessly. The system wasted no time and directly revealed its message. The host can absorb some herbs collected using the Swallowing Heaven technique. Yangfan skeptically took out a herb and activated the Swallowing Heaven technique. The color of the herb in his hand gradually faded, followed by withering and decaying. Yangfan only felt a cool sensation flowing into his body, which was quite pleasant. It really can be absorbed. This Swallowing Heaven technique is truly a treasure. Yangfan excitedly examined his body and found that his cultivation had indeed advanced. At this rate, he would soon reach the 7th level of body refinement. "Xuantian, keep an eye out for me, and let me know if anyone approaches." Yangfan patted Xuantian on the shoulder. Xuantian nodded humanely, and then soared into the sky, closely observing the happenings around. Yangfan then took out all the herbs and activated the Swallowing Heaven technique. Before long, he had absorbed all the usable herbs, while the remaining unusable ones were converted into points. Now Yangfan had a total of 17430 points. However, he wasn't focused on the points of what mattered to him was his cultivation. After absorbing those herbs, his cultivation had indeed reached the 7th level of body refinement. Yang Fan looked at his body with satisfaction and burst into hearty laughter. Moreover, with the breakthrough in his cultivation, the number of mini hydrogen bombs he could use had also reached 7 per day. The one he lost before had refreshed. Currently, Yang Fan could still use 7 mini hydrogen bombs. Yang Fan felt speechless. Was this really necessary to crush his spirits? Xuantian, tell me, am I progressing quickly or not? Yang Fan turned his gaze to Xuantian, who was circling in the air. Chirp, chirp. Xuantian rolled its eyes and flew away without looking back. You ungrateful creature. I fed you so much. Yang Fan had hoped to receive some comfort from Xuantian, but he didn't expect it to demoralize him instead. After counting his points and the items obtained, Yang Fan prepared to set off for several other mountain strongholds. Based on the earlier findings from Xuantian, all the mountain strongholds had mobilized, preparing to ambush the group coming from Qianshan City. First, let's destroy their lair, and then we can pursue them. Let's make dumplings. Yang Fan smiled. He had already swept through the Black Wind stronghold, which was the most well-established. There were still other strongholds he had not visited, and now that those strongholds had few people, it provided him with a perfect opportunity to launch a surprise attack. Yang Fan hurried to the remaining strongholds. With his cultivation reaching the 7th level of body refinement, he maneuvered the free and easy technique more skillfully, and his speed had also increased significantly. In just 2 hours, he turned the other strongholds upside down using the same method as before. Xuantian scouted ahead. In the empty strongholds, he swaggered into search, and in those with people, he killed them first before searching. Throughout the entire process, he encountered no resistance whatsoever thanks to his 7th level of body refinement strength, combined with Xuantian, a mid-stage first-tier beast. He virtually killed wherever he went, as those with some strength in these strongholds had gone to retaliate against the forces from Qianshan City. The remaining were merely small fry at the 4th and 5th levels of body refinement, not requiring Yang Fan to take action. Xuantian could handle them. However, the remaining strongholds were not as wealthy as the Black Wind stronghold. The several strongholds combined only yielded over 5,000 points. Adding the previous points, Yang Fan now had a total of 22936 points. All done, the task is more than halfway complete. After personally destroying all the strongholds, Yang Fan nodded in satisfaction. This trip was not in vain. Not only did he earn points, but he also obtained a pet, making it a bountiful harvest. Xuantian, check which direction has people. Yang Fan instructed. Xuantian immediately soared into the sky, reaching a certain height before starting to observe the surroundings. Chirp, chirp. Soon it provided a response to Yang Fan. Although they couldn't communicate in words, through spiritual sensing, he could understand Xuantian's meaning. After getting the general direction, Yang Fan wasted no time activating the free and easy technique and heading toward that direction, preparing to catch them all. He still had 7 mini hydrogen bombs in hand, enough for those people to face a dire situation. Especially since they had previously been caught off guard by the mini hydrogen bombs and had sustained some injuries, they definitely couldn't withstand further turmoil. Did you guys feel something was off? What's wrong? It seems like someone is behind us. Who would be following us? Are you scared? If you're scared, just go back. Some bandits had a sharper sense and were starting to feel that something was amiss. Maybe I'm just too tense. He shook his head and continued following the main group. Phew. That was close, almost got discovered. Yang Fan took a deep breath. If he was discovered, it would be over. There were certainly some warriors among them at the blood transformation realm. Getting caught would mean certain. Xuantian. Yang Fan grinned as he pulled out something and handed it to Xuantian. Xuantian quickly understood, clenching the mini hydrogen bomb in its mouth and flying into the air, adjusting its position to prepare to drop it. Yang Fan also found a place to hide, ensuring that he would not be harmed by the shockwave from the explosion. In truth, he did not expect to completely eliminate this group of people. Warriors at the blood transformation stage are not so easily dealt with. He only aimed to weaken their strength, making it effortless to eliminate them later. Bang! The sound of the explosion rang out, followed by the rise of a massive mushroom cloud. This commotion made the already injured bandits suffer even more, with the stronger ones only exacerbating their injuries. Those of average strength were instantly killed on the spot, lacking even the ability to resist. City Lord, look, there's an energy fluctuation over there. Not long after setting off, one of the subordinates pointed a direction to Yang Langtian. Isn't that the fluctuation caused by the magic weapon used by the young city lord to repel the flame beast city? That's the one. Hurry, head in that direction at full speed. Yang Langtian immediately commanded. He was well aware of the ferocity of the bandits in this mountain, especially at the Black Wind stronghold, where the leader was a master of the blood transformation stage. Yang Fan was definitely no match for him. Here they come again. This kind of power has almost slaughtered all my brothers in the stronghold. Run, split up, and run. Well, regroup at Qianshan City. This must be their doing. If I die today, they will pay the price. Several stronghold leaders gathered together, gritting their teeth in discussion. These bastards are ridiculously strong. Not even a mini hydrogen bomb could take them down. Yang Fan anxiously watched from the side, originally thinking that a single mini hydrogen bomb would wipe out at least half of them. He didn't expect that not even half were dead, most were only more severely injured. Xuantian, give them a few more. Yang Fan waved to Xuantian in the sky, preparing the next dose of Yang Fan directly handed over the remaining 6 mini hydrogen bombs to Xuantian, who flew into the sky and dropped all 6. Bang bang bang. 6 explosions, 6 mushroom clouds directly annihilating over 7,000 bandits, increasing Yang Fan's score by 7352, bringing his total to 31,288. The several stronghold leaders who had been planning how to escape and regroup to attack Xuantian City were now dumbfounded. All were battered and bruised from the sudden explosion, and without further discussion, they turned to flee. Those at the blood transformation second and third stages were severely impacted by the 7 mini hydrogen bombs, and not only did they lose their blood transformation cultivation, their strength diminished greatly, even lacking the prowess of the 6th stage of body refinement. The nearly 10,000 men they had brought out were now left with just a few commanders. Hiss! Everyone on Yang Langshan's side gasped at the sight. This power was no joke. They had all witnessed the power of Yang Fan's magic weapon, or just 2 could drive back the army attacking Flame Beast City. Given that they had been bombed 7 times, it was likely that not even ashes remained. We should be getting close now, hurry. Yang Langtian had some concerns, knowing that those bandits had survived on the mountain for many years, so they certainly weren't easy prey. Yang Fan was still a child, and though he had support from powerful allies, facing these ruthless bandits was still somewhat dangerous. Xuantian chase. Yang Fan surged forward, swiftly resolving the few heavily injured stronghold leaders without breaking a sweat. They were likely struggling even to run away. The power of the mini hydrogen bombs was not to be trifled with. They would at least be severely injured if not killed. He was indeed correct. The remaining stronghold leaders could only exert strength at the 4th or 5th stage of body refinement, and could not even contend with Xuantian. With the aid of the carefree escape technique, Yang Fan quickly caught up with the leader of the Iron Dragon stronghold, Xuancheng, who had previously possessed the strength of the 2nd stage of blood transformation before becoming injured. You really don't know your limits. A mere kid at the 7th stage of body refinement dares to chase me. Be careful, you might not even know how you die. Xuancheng noticed someone was tailing him, turned around, and found a kid at the 7th stage of body refinement. You're heavily injured and can barely run, yet dare to boast. Xuantian, go. Yang Fan had no intention of attacking him directly, instead sending Xuantian to test the waters. Though this old fellow was injured, Yang Fan was still unsure of the extent of his potential strength. A monster beast. Xuancheng's eyes lit up with greed. He didn't expect this tiny child to have a monster beast. Yang Fan shook his head, realizing that even when near death, the man's greed remained. Truly, the saying that people die for wealth and birds die for food was accurate. In the next moment, Xuancheng was pierced through the chest by Xuantian's aerial strike, dead beyond recovery. This strength has clearly declined significantly. At most, he's hanging on at the 6th stage of body refinement. It seems he is severely injured. Yang Fan murmured softly. At the same time, he felt relieved. If the leader of the Iron Dragon stronghold was that weak, the other leaders must be similar. This made it easy to deal with them, as if they were weaker than Xuantian, they would fall one by one. Moreover, it was worth noting that Xuantian's specialty was his incredible flying speed, making him a great pursuer. Even at their peak, those stronghold leaders might not be able to outrun Xuantian, and now that they were heavily injured, there was no chance. Xuantian, let's go find the next one. Yang Fan used the carefree escape technique again, following Xuantian to search for the next target. He successively killed 3 more leaders, all meeting the same fate of being pierced through the chest by Xuantian. With Xuantian's help, Yang Fan found a few more people and eliminated them, all of whom were heavily injured, falling to Yang Fan with a single strike. Now only one remained, the leader of the Black Wind stronghold, Mo Long. Among the entire Black Flame Mountain range, the Black Wind stronghold was the most powerful, and Mo Long was the strongest of all the leaders. With a cultivation at the 3rd stage of blood transformation, his strength was evident. He had originally planned to take all the remaining people from the strongholds to launch a surprise attack on Xuantian City. Now, however, not only had he failed to launch an attack, but the nearly 10,000 men he had brought were all gone, leaving just a few stronghold leaders. Yang Langtian. It was indeed your doing. The leader of the Black Wind stronghold, while running, discovered a large group blocking his path ahead. Upon seeing the person at the forefront, he couldn't help but feel rage boiling within him. So what if it was my doing? Yang Langtian was surprised at the disheveled appearance of the leader of the Black Wind stronghold, a master at the 3rd stage of blood transformation, now bruised and battered, with his clothes torn by the shockwaves of the explosion, leaving not a single part of him intact. Having sustained such heavy injuries, the most he could muster was the strength of a 5th or 6th stage of body refinement. Today they would definitely be eradicated. I want you dead, he shouted, raising his weapon and charging towards Yang Langtian. However, he had barely taken 2 steps when a hole appeared in his chest, a monster beast piercing through from behind. Yang Langtian had a premonition that the appearance of this monster beast was no coincidence. Well done, Xuantian. He'll reward you with something delicious later. At that moment, Yang Fan's voice rang out, and his figure appeared in Yang Langshan's line of sight. After hearing this, Xuantian flew onto Yang Fan's shoulder, affectionately rubbing against his face. Everyone watched in astonishment at the affectionate display between the boy and the beast, speechless. Was this still the same young city lord? Dad, how about it? Am I amazing? I've taken out all the bandits, Yang Fan boasted. Yang Langtian responded with 2 hearty praises to show his satisfaction. By the way, how did your cultivation? In the next moment, Yang Langtian was surprised to sense the aura emanating from Yang Fan. For the past 18 years, Yang Fan's cultivation had remained stagnant. Now, however, he had jumped directly from the 1st stage of body refinement to the 4th, and then from the 4th to the 7th. Didn't I tell you? I have a master who accepted me as a disciple, and my cultivation skyrocketed. Isn't that normal? Yang Fan chuckled. I know, but this is just too fast. Yang Langtian still found it hard to believe. He was aware of Yang Fan's cultivation talent having remained at the 1st stage of body refinement, for it could not simply be described as low talent. It was as if he had no understanding of cultivation at all. He had only reached the 1st stage of body refinement because he had forcibly sought out medicinal material. Of course, my master said I have great talent, it's just that I didn't know how to develop it. Yang Fan continued to boast. Ha, I can say I have a worthy successor. Ultimately, Yang Langtian chose not to dwell on this issue any longer. Looking at Yang Fan, his eyes expressed complete satisfaction as he laughed heartily, appearing very pleased. Then Yang Langtian glanced at the small beast on Yang Fan's shoulder. What's this magical beast on your shoulder? Oh, I found it by the roadside. I call it Xuantian. Yang Fan offered an excuse. Yang Langtian didn't quite believe him, knowing that magical beasts were not so easily tamed. Moreover, he had just witnessed the magical beast's remarkable speed, which could easily match his own. Let's head back. I'll host a victory banquet for you. Yang Fan did not decline. This was the first time he had seen respect in everyone's eyes since he had grown up. Previously, it was solely because of his identity as the son of the city lord that people treated him with such deference. Now it was different. Everyone was astonished by his actions. In this world, strength was revered, and those with power would earn everyone's respect. On the way back, someone approached and asked Yang Fan how he managed to single-handedly eliminate all the bandits in the Black Flame Mountains. Yang Fan merely smiled and embellished his tale with his silver tongue. He claimed that he had charmed Xuantian with his charisma, leaving Xuantian in disbelief at having such a master. Why are you back so soon? Did you clear out all the bandits? The guard left to watch the gate of Xuantian City asked in confusion. It shouldn't be possible. Although the city lord led the charge, the bandits in the Black Flame Mountains were no pushovers. Especially those several leaders among whom were experts at the blood transformation realm. How could they be wiped out so quickly? Of course, it had to be done thoroughly. The soldiers chattered. Open the city gates. Welcome back the city lord in triumph. The guards at the entrance called out. Soon the heavy city gates slowly rose. I knew it. When the city lord steps in, what do those bandits even count for? They probably just kneel down and wait for death. Yang Fan felt immensely frustrated. He had never noticed how adept these people were at flattering. You've got it wrong. It wasn't the city lord who eliminated the bandits. Not the city lord. Then who? Could it be you? It was the young city lord who did it. By the time we arrived, the young city lord had already dealt with all the bandit camps, which is why we returned so quickly. Before Yang Langtian could explain, a soldier couldn't help but blurt out the truth. Silence fell, the kind that was terrifying. The previously chattering soldiers now stopped. No one dared to speak another word. Clearly they had doubts about Yang Fan's strength. Yang Fan was aware of this, as well, the son of the city lord who had cultivated for 18 years yet remained at the 1st stage of body refinement. This had become a laughingstock for everyone, but fortunately Yang Fan was humble, so few looked down on him. Although Yang Fan had resolved the crisis in Xuantian City a few days ago, it was also due to the power of a magical artifact. If they were to say that Yang Fan had eliminated the bandits in the Black Flame Mountains, they truly wouldn't believe it, not even in 1,000 years. The young city lord is right here. If you don't believe it, feel free to ask him. The soldier who spoke earlier pointed at Yang Fan. A magical beast. Some sharp-eyed individuals had already spotted the small beast resting on Yang Fan's shoulder. The crowd erupted in excitement. Magical beasts weren't something just anyone could tame. How could a being that had developed intelligence be willing to become a pet? Many began to believe that Yang Fan had indeed wiped out all the bandit camps. The young city lord's cultivation is at the 7th stage of body refinement. This revelation echoed like thunder among the crowd. Who in Xuantian City didn't know that the son of the city lord Yang Fan was a waste at the 1st stage of body refinement? The city lord had tried every possible means, but could not help him improve his cultivation, not even with the Yang family's ancestral cultivation technique, the fierce sun art. His cultivation had remained stagnant. Just like that, this person suddenly advanced to the 7th stage of body refinement, and even tamed a magical beast. The young city lord is impressive. The young city lord is impressive. The cheers grew louder as Yang Fan was tossed into the air by the soldiers. After today, Yang Fan's reputation in Xuantian City would grow ever louder, spreading from 1 to 10 then to 100. Everyone knew that Yang Fan had single-handedly eliminated all the bandits in the Black Flame Mountains. In no time, everyone was praising Yang Langtian for having a good son who had helped resolve 2 major troubles for Xuantian City. However, Yang Fan remained oblivious to the happenings outside. After returning to Xuantian City, he entered a training room to practice. He spent 2,000 points preparing to stay in the first room for 4 days, equating to 12 days of cultivation. As his cultivation improved, Yang Fan could now use 9 mini hydrogen bombs each day. Currently, he had 27 mini hydrogen bombs in stock. Yang Fan couldn't help but marvel at his rising fortunes with 36593 points and 27 mini hydrogen bombs. Most importantly, his cultivation had already reached the 9th level of body refinement, just a step away from blood transference. For others, this might be as difficult as ascending to heaven, requiring comprehension battles and opportunities. But for Yang Fan, it was as simple as one word: kill. Once the number was reached, he could advance to blood transference. Ding! This system detects that the host's point total has reached 36593. Oh, what do you want to do? What are you scheming with my points? I warn you, if there's something, come at me. Don't touch my points. Yang Fan knew immediately that the system was up to no good again, planning to trick him. This system is opening a lottery pool. The host can participate in the lottery originally priced at 1888, now only 998. 998, a discount. Yang Fan was tempted. He indeed had plenty of points now, and he had participated in point lotteries before. Xuantian had won from a lottery, which could be considered a bargain. Let me see what's in the prize pool. However, Yang Fan remained cautious as he had already experienced the traps set by this system, which were far from trivial. The prizes included the Dinghai Shenzhen 8-9 Mystic Art 9 Tooth Rake, Yi Jin Jing, and Absorbing Star Technique. Draw. I must draw. Yang Fan was ecstatic. Not drawing would be foolish. To get all this for 998 was a sure profit. Lottery starting, deducting 998 points from the host. As the system's prompt faded, a gigantic, dazzling golden wheel appeared before Yang Fan. After spinning, the wheel stopped between the Dinghai Shenzhen and the 8-9 Mystic Art. Yang Fan was thrilled. Both were excellent items, one being the weapon of Sun Wukong, and the other a technique he cultivated. System, what does it mean to be stuck in the middle? Does that mean I get both? Yang Fan asked greedily. Ding! The host misread it, or it is not stuck in the middle. Not. Then one is fine. I don't mind losing a bit. Just tell me what I get. Yang Fan rubbed his hands, waiting for the system to announce the result. Thank you for participating. Thank you for participating. That's not what I saw. I saw it stuck between the 8-9 Mystic Art and the Dinghai Shenzhen. Yang Fan was furious. How could it be so deceptive? I don't care, you must give me one. It can't just end like this. As soon as he finished speaking, the system magnified the wheel over and over again. After magnification, Yang Fan was left speechless. It was indeed not in the middle, as there was another option between the Dinghai Shenzhen and the 8-9 Mystic Art. That option clearly stated, "Thank you for participating." At this point, Yang Fan was left without a retort, unsure if his luck was good or bad managing to hit such a small probability. Continue drawing. I refuse to believe I can't hit any of these great items. Yang Fan stubbornly continued to draw. Lottery starting, deducting 998 points from the host. The pointer spun again, finally stopping at "Thank you for participating." Draw again. "Thank you for participating." Continue. "Thank you for participating." After 5 consecutive draws, Yang Fan finally decided to compromise. He believed he just didn't have the luck. Last chance. If I don't hit anything, I won't draw again. Yang Fan shook his head. This was simply wasting points. With 6 draws, he was down to 3060. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have won a prize. An electric rice cooker. An electric rice cooker. Are you sure it's an electric rice cooker? An electric rice cooker. After 6 draws, spending 5988 experience points, and I get an electric rice cooker. Isn't that too much of a joke? That's right, it's an electric rice cooker. The system seemed completely oblivious to the anger in Yang Fan's words. You must give me something else, or I don't care. There's no electricity here, or what use do I have for an electric rice cooker? Sorry, whatever you draw is what you get. No exchanges. Then refund my points, so I don't want it. Refund not allowed. Not allowed to refund. What use is an electric rice cooker to me? Yang Fan felt overwhelmed. If it were in the original world, it would still be useful. What use is an electric rice cooker in this place? It does nothing, given or not, it's the same. Of course it's useful. This electric rice cooker has been transformed by the Great Tao World, and is no longer an ordinary rice cooker. It can refine pills. Hearing this, Yang Fan felt the system was still trying to pull a fast one, but upon hearing it could refine pills, his expression changed immediately. Refined pills. Yes, refined pills. You mean this thing can be used to refine pills? Not only can it refine pills, but it's also fully automatic. Ooh, just put in the medicinal materials, and it will refine without needing flames. What the system said made Xuantian overjoyed. He knew a bit about refining pills. There were various kinds of pills: medicinal pills for healing, and those for cultivation. Healing pills were fine, but cultivation pills were rare. They were almost priceless. Many people would struggle their entire lives without seeing such pills. However, some prodigies from wealthy clans relied entirely on pills to enhance their cultivation. In the future, won't I be able to treat pills like candy? Xuantian thought of a plan. He would grind monsters for medicinal materials and then refine pills to consume. This way his cultivation speed would definitely soar. It wouldn't be long before he could look down upon the entire continent. However, the success rate of refining pills cannot be guaranteed. The higher the grade of the pills, the harder it is to produce them. The system reminded him. That's fine. I understand. Xuantian excitedly rubbed his hands. First-tier pills have a 100 success rate, and they are of perfect quality. Second-tier pills have a 100 success rate, but only mid-level quality, 50 for high quality, and 10 for perfect quality. Third-tier pills have a 50 success rate, and only initial quality. After that, it's impossible to refine without upgrading. The system explained the range and probabilities of the rice cooker's pill refining capabilities. Hiss! Xuantian gasped. This was incredible. It was far superior to human pill refining. After all, those who could refine pills were alchemists, who were usually highly sought after and protected by major factions. With a 100 success rate for first and second-tier pills, he was practically a second-tier alchemist. In Xuantian City, there was only one second-tier alchemist, and he often failed. I've struck gold, Xuantian exclaimed. System, stop dawdling. Bring out my treasure right away. Xuantian exclaimed, brimming with exhilaration. In the dozens of surrounding cities, alchemists were exceedingly rare, and thus held an unparalleled esteem. In the next instant, a rice cooker materialized in Xuantian's hands, identical in appearance to ordinary models save for the absence of a power cord. Its construction was markedly sturdier and its weight substantial, reassuring Xuantian that the system had not deceived him. How exactly do I refine pills? Do I simply place the medicinal herbs inside? After prolonged scrutiny yielded no answers, he reluctantly turned to the system for guidance. After all, there was no instruction manual. Not knowing how to use it was hardly shameful. Just place the herbs inside. But you'll need a pill formula. A pill formula. Xuantian sensed the faintest whiff of conspiracy. Pills were extraordinarily precious, not only because alchemists were scarce, but also because high-grade medicinal herbs were seldom found. Pill formulas, meanwhile, were even rarer, commanding astronomical value. This system had misled him more than once, so such a coveted item as a pill formula would certainly not be granted freely. How do I obtain a pill formula? Purchase it from the marketplace. Rip-off. Absolute rip-off. You're nothing short of a consummate scammer. Xuantian nearly exploded with rage, first drawing 6 times in the lottery and landing only a rice cooker. Then came the revelation that he needed to buy a pill formula, costing precious points, yet without it the rice cooker would remain useless. The host may choose not to purchase. This system enforces no compulsory transactions. Xuantian ground his teeth in frustration. Was there truly any difference? After prolonged interaction, he'd long since deciphered the system's pattern. Acquiring a pill formula would surely cost a fortune. This was clearly an elaborate scheme to fleece him. Fine, I'll buy it. Xuantian gritted out through clenched teeth. He checked his remaining points, 30605. Having painstakingly accumulated over 30,000, he'd already spent 588 on the lottery, hoping fervently the formula wouldn't be exorbitantly priced. Grand opening special: buy 1 pill formula, get 2 free. Which formulas am I buying? And which are gifted? And what's the price? Xuantian asked warily. 2 formulas for second-tier pills, and 1 for a first-tier pill, for just 5,000 points. A chill ran down Xuantian's spine. Whether bought or gifted mattered little now. What if these were worthless formulas tossed in merely to inflate the offer? The first-tier formula is for body-tempering pills, the second-tier formulas are for kind blood pills and foundation cultivation pills, the system clarified. Proceed with the exchange. Without hesitation, Xuantian agreed. It wasn't a bad deal, 5,000 points for 3 practical, everyday use formulas. Pill formulas were closely guarded secrets among alchemists, so precious that they were often priceless and impossible to acquire on the open market. Ding, 5,000, you deducted those points with remarkable efficiency. Xuantian muttered under his breath. The system only ever became unusually animated when scheming against him. Xuantian unfurled the 3 formulas at random. Body tempering pill function, purify essence and fortify marrow. Ingredients: dragonbone grass, marrow refining flour, harmonizing herb. Kind blood pill function, replenish vital energy and blood. Ingredients: 1000 gold vine, cloud dew flower, frost ice, arrow grass, azure dragon ginseng. Foundation Cultivation Pill Function. Enhance and stabilize cultivation for practitioners at the blood movement realm. Ingredients: prepared Rehmannia ginseng, 7-leaf lingji, immortal grass, sunflower. Now that I have the formulas, it's time to gather the ingredients. Yang Fan mused, stroking his chin. But where on earth do I find these herbs? I can't even identify them. It finally dawned on Yang Fan why alchemists were so scarce. Come to think of it, Xuantian City did boast a second-tier alchemist, but grievously injured he could barely refine even first-tier pills anymore. An idea struck him: post city-wide notices requesting herbs. Yang Fan dashed to his father Yang Langtian's chamber. Father, could you help me with something? What is it? Yang Langtian instinctively replied. I need you to procure some medicinal herbs for me. Just post notices across the city announcing that I'm purchasing them. Why do you need herbs? They're used solely for alchemy. Yang Langtian frowned, puzzled. What sudden whim had possessed his son to collect herbs? For alchemy, of course. Yang Fan declared solemnly. You can refine pills. Yang Langtian leapt up from his stool, electrified, knowing full well how rare and invaluable an alchemist truly was. Indeed, I can. Yang Fan replied, utterly unflustered. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Xuantian City has finally turned a corner. Yang Langtian punched the air triumphantly, and voiced no skepticism, for he knew his own son better than anyone. I'll begin sourcing the herbs immediately. And, your cultivation? Only then did Yang Langtian notice his son's abrupt advancement. 4 days ago Yang Fan had been at body tempering 7th rank. Now he stood at 9th rank. Ha ha, your son possesses extraordinary talent. Yang Fan boasted shamelessly. His father was overjoyed. His once dismissed son was progressing at lightning speed. What types of herbs do you require? Dragonbone grass, marrow refining flower, harmonizing herb, 1000 gold vine, cloud dew flower, frost ice, arrowgrass, azure dragon ginseng, prepared Rehmannia ginseng, 7-leaf lingji. Yang Fan recited the entire list from memory. So many. What kind of pills are you refining? Yang Langtian asked. You'll see once they're refined. Oh, and please gather as much as possible. The more, Yang Fan added firmly. He possessed only first and second-tier formulas, and with the correct ingredients success was guaranteed. There was no risk of waste. Given sufficient herbs, he could refine endlessly. What does the young lord want with these herbs? Aren't they used exclusively for alchemy? Ah, you're unaware. Rumor has it the young lord apprenticed under a reclusive master. Alchemy, then, is hardly surprising. Alchemists are scarce, but I doubt he's capable. Perhaps he's merely practicing. One can never be certain. I believe the young lord can refine pills. Don't forget it was he who resolved Xuantian City's crisis. No sooner had the notice gone up than crowds gathered, buzzing with speculation. Yang Fan had become Xuantian City's most talked-about figure. People everywhere debated the young lord whose cultivation had skyrocketed overnight. The notice only intensified public fascination. After all, becoming an alchemist demanded extraordinary aptitude. Mastery of herbal pharmacology, precise understanding of medicinal properties, exact furnace temperature control, impeccable timing for opening the cauldron and retrieving pills, and deep knowledge of pill formulas. These were but a few of the essential competencies required of a true alchemist.